So
Just
thank
like
you.
that.
Yeah, just like that.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for having me over.
Yeah.
And it's almost weird. I just pulled up to your house. I saw your license plate that said Patriot Barbie. And I'm like, dude, I'm in the right place.
Okay, so like 2 months ago, if you would have pulled up, I had a whole Patriot Barbie like logo, website, Instagram, all of it on the back. And then I pissed off some local liberal kids because I was exposing their non-gender teacher. And I was getting actually texts with my address.
Oh, really?
So I was like, oh, I should probably not have my logo all over my car. I was like picturing myself being at the grocery store and literally my car being like keyed or broken into.
And that's the same. I think about that stuff a lot too. Like, I'm not going to take my vehicle as an opportunity to like advertise my political affiliations.
Yeah.
Because 0 times in my life has someone ever confronted me face to face with a problem.
Yep.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Gosh, I wonder why.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Are you intimidating looking or?
But they will take every opportunity. Exactly. You're in the grocery store and, oh, there's her car.
To be I'll sucker punch you. I'll sucker punch you. Yeah. Hey, that reminds me of like a great first story to go into. And I bet you know this. So in Salem, my salon was all window front, 5,000 square feet. Half of it were front row downtown Salem, right? Glass windows. I was in there, no masks, working against the mandate, all this stuff. I tell people this all the time because I think it's encouraging. I was getting death threats, violence, all the things from the liberal left. This was back in 2020, of course. Not one person. Everyone knew I was there, right? I'm in the window. You could drive by. Oh, there's Lindsey Graham, and they're doing hair illegally without a mask on. Yeah. Not wearing gloves. Not 6 feet apart.
Like how do you cut hair 6 feet apart?
Right, exactly. Like, I'm going to fire torch you and it'll burn off what I need to burn off. No one ever came into my salon and said, you're a racist. You're a white nationalist.
Yeah.
Never. Nothing. There I am. Come get me. Well, they were threatening me online nonstop. That's when I learned the left is weak.
Yeah. Well, and I learned that same lesson because when my video went viral, my message, and I don't know if you remember, but I didn't actually go into the COVID stuff too much because I had my personal opinions, but I'm not a doctor. Right. I'm not an epidemiologist, right? I'm just a police officer that saw police officers violating their oath. That's my wheelhouse. That's where I feel comfortable discussing where the issues are.
Yeah.
But because the radical left was like, oh, well, he's telling police officers to not support our governors. Now they're coming after me, right?
Right.
But it was the same shit. Emails. And here's the ironic thing. My wife, because we own a gym and all our information's public. I never thought that I'd have to like hide from anyone. Right. So like our emails, my phone number, calls, texts, emails, all this shit started coming in. And dude, they're sending my wife messages saying, we're going to kill your kids.
My gosh.
And it's like, motherfucker, I'm real easy to find.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Go ahead and try.
But this is what I've really, I was very angry out of the gates with a lot of stuff, as I'm sure you were, and I'm excited to get into it all. But like, I honestly think that it's just this fringe portion of the left that wants to just continuously stir the pot, right?
Right. They're bored.
Nobody ever came with any type of problem.
Nope.
But not only that, I don't see the kinds of things that are getting pushed through propaganda in real life in any political affiliation. Yeah. Like Andy Frisella talks about it all the time. He thinks 80 to 90% of us are probably in alignment.
Yeah.
And what they do is they take those fringe minorities and they put the spotlight on them. Yeah. And that's what stirs the pot all the time. Yep. And it makes us all hate each other. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because like I have plenty of friends that lean that would vote Democrat because I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. Like jiu-jitsu there's everybody on the mats. Yeah. And I don't know anyone that supports all the crazy shit that's going on.
I know.
Like drag queens.
Except fake profiles on Instagram.
Exactly.
Like with
that's
no
exactly
picture.
It.
And zero followers.
They're all bots and it's all, we're all being targeted through propaganda. Like find me. And dude, we each have 120,000 followers, right? Yeah. So that's 240,000 people that take in our content. Right. So out of 250,000 people, will one of you guys write us and tell us that you support men waving their dicks in front of little kids' faces?
Dude, no.
I just want to hear one.
I know. And even, I'll even take the Democrat followers, literally. I'll take the liberal left and say, tell me the truth. If you want to have an opinion about people being able to transition or that your gender identity is a thing, whatever, do you also believe unequivocally that man is allowed in the little girl's locker room? And I would bet that the majority of them
would say
are reasonable enough to say no. Yes.
Yeah. And I honestly think the radical left have hijacked the liberal movement. Because if you remember, it's funny how things kind of go full circle, right? What was the liberal movement? What was the leftist movement through like the 60s and 70s? It's like, fuck the government, right? Freedom of choice, freedom of my body, like all of these things that...
Anarchy, like full anarchy, full like rage, freedom and hippie.
Rage against the machine.
Peace and love.
Right?
Yeah.
And now it's went full circle to where like they're the mouthpieces for the radical government and the political elite.
Yeah.
And I think once people start to realize like, oh, big pharma, big government, they're not on our side.
No.
They've manipulated us through propaganda. Then everybody can come together and be like, okay, like we may have differing opinions, but we know that these elite class of motherfuckers that are basically just robbing us and stealing. Yeah.
Putting us under their thumb.
Exactly.
Yep.
Once everybody comes to the conclusion like, oh, we're not each other's enemy. They're our enemy.
Yep.
That's when they're fucked.
Yeah.
And that's what they're scared of.
Well, so the other thing that they used to believe back then too was don't put your beliefs on me. And that was based on Jesus, religion.
Mm-hmm.
Don't push your God on me. Don't push religion on me, which no one really ever did. It was just kind of part of our country, right? The Pledge of Allegiance, which has God's name in it. Prayer, which was accepted in his freedom of religion. That's got all stop. We've got to come out of the schools. And that doesn't happen anymore, right? I can't think of the last time I saw a news story about a Christian that like pushed their religion on someone and someone took them to court, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. We literally, we obliged. We said, okay, fine. No God in schools, no prayer. Like we don't want to offend anyone. And they're taking that entire concept, flipping it upside down and doing the opposite of what they said they believe in. They're pushing all of their beliefs onto us. But then when we say, well, hold on, it's the same. No, it's because you're divisive and you're hateful. And it's like, well, we weren't hateful when we wanted to pray in school. I was hateful.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
And then here's the weird thing. It's like the radical left, they just pick and choose what's acceptable and what's 100%. Not, right? Like Christians praying, oh, you can't do that.
You're pushing your religion.
But if you're Muslim and you want to put a rug down and face Mecca, like that's the greatest thing ever. Let's
that's
support
inclusive.
This, right?
Yes, we need to be accepting all religions.
And this is what I've come to terms with literally in the last couple of years of my life. Because I'm not ashamed. I'm not afraid to admit this. When I was in my 20s, I hated Muslims, right? Because I was fighting them to the death in the streets of Ramadi, right?
Yeah.
And they're screaming Allah Akbar and cutting people's heads off and stuff.
Gosh.
I started to attribute that to the Muslim faith as opposed to attributing that to radical fucking jihadists. Yeah. And those are different things, right? Yeah. There are good Muslims in the world. And it's an interesting story. Literally yesterday, I'm at the GEM show in Tucson and I'm walking up to this booth and it's a guy who's clearly from Afghanistan, full like the man dress. Is that a derogatory term? That's what we call them.
Oh, you're going to get canceled, Greg, for saying it.
But he had like the head garment that they wear in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And the beard is like everything about him said Afghani,
this
right?
This is like legit.
And I thought to myself, man, when I was young, I was conditioned to hate this person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I walk up to him and he goes, good morning, guys. And he goes, oh, you have two beautiful daughters. Because only my two youngest were with me. My oldest was with my wife. And he goes, pick out any gem you would like. And it's from me as a gift for free.
That's
to
so
your
nice.
Beautiful daughters.
Oh.
And I started like getting emotional inside because it's like, man, this is just a human being.
Yep.
This is a
nice
human
one too.
being this is his profession. And he thinks my daughters look like cute, special little kids. And he recognized that and made them feel special. And it's like, fuck, man.
I just judged the crap out of him.
No.
I would have.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah. Right? My younger self would have been like, fucking Haji in a man skirt. You know? And it's like, dude, but we are all victims of this propaganda.
Yeah.
And I was too, you know? And it's like, when we look at moving forward as a country, this is what's interesting. You know who despises all of this stuff worse than people like us? is people of Muslim faith. They can't stand all the radical, like all the transgender.
I'm
and
sure.
like
It goes against every other society. Every other society except America.
Dude, Vladimir Putin gave a speech about it a couple months ago. And I sat there, listened to it, and I'm like, I'm completely in alignment with this person.
Yeah. Ooh, isn't that scary?
And I was like, wait, what? Like, our own president seems like this vile, manipulative puppet.
Yep.
And since I was a little boy, it's like, Russia's the bad guys. Russia's the bad guys. And then I'm sitting here listening, and literally everything he said, I'm in alignment with.
Interesting.
Now maybe it's maybe he's playing 3D chess, and he's trying to use propaganda against American citizens, right?
Everyone's playing games.
That's what I'm saying.
We don't know who to trust.
Or maybe he just sees America for what it is, and because he's calling it out, he's the bad guy now.
Right.
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I think, I've had a theory about this, and I don't think I've ever voiced it on a podcast. So I believe that where there was, so you can't say that the country is racist. That's not a thing. Like, there are people in the country, and you can't say a system is racist because, like, I don't think that's real. People make decisions, and people make different decisions in different situations all the time. I believe that where there was no racism, the left is starting to try to create racism. And let me give you my personal example of that. When I protected my salon against BLM with my Second Amendment rights, I was called a white nationalist, white supremacist, racist. Petition was started saying I was a threat to the community. I started to look at my surroundings differently because of the way that they made me feel. I've never been a racist, ever. I've never done anything racist, right? I don't deserve that label whatsoever. Within that week, I went to my husband's gym, which was in Woodburn, Oregon at the time, and was working out, and I saw a black man downstairs. And my thought process initially would have been like completely obsolete. I wouldn't have looked twice at him, right? I mean, my mind would have said, he's a black man, like, you're a white man, whatever. But in my mind, I started to worry about him and what he thought of me if he saw the news, if he heard I was a racist, if he looks at me and thinks I'm a racist. Do I need to go up to him and tell him, hey, I don't know if you've seen news about me, like, just so you know, I'm not a racist. Like I have to defend myself to him. It literally changed from one day to the next, and the liberals did this, how I would relate to that man.
Yeah.
I had to feel like I have to be on self-defense against him, because what if he really thinks I'm a white supremacist? Do I need to go apologize? Do I need to go tell him that I'm not? Do I need to have a conversation? Is it racist for me to do that because he's black? I'm in my own head and going, how is race an issue for me all of a sudden on the defense, not on the offense, right? I'm insecure about myself because of what they did.
Yes.
They literally created an issue with race in me where there previously was none.
Their plan is coming to fruition. That's what that is, right? And here's the thing, like, there are a bunch of, I have so many thoughts going through my head at once.
I know so much.
In the epicenter of who the enemy is, it's our government. Mm-hmm. It's always been governments. It's never been people. It's people that are in positions of power that are always stirring the pot. Right? Yeah. And so they know that there are a bunch of young black men that feel disenfranchised by the system. I was a deputy. I worked in Compton, California. Like, I know what those communities are like, and I'm here to tell you that they're in shambles, right? Yeah. And meanwhile, while our government sends billions of dollars to Ukraine, we could build like different things to teach people like how to work in the trades. I've said this on the podcast a lot. Imagine if we built like a giant welding center in Compton, California, and said, hey, this is government funded. A lot of you kids that got wrapped up in the gang culture, because I arrested more kids for gang related stuff than I can remember. And there's a part of it that's sad. Yeah. And the reason that it's sad is because when they're in the back of my police car and I'm talking to them like we're talking right now, a lot of them are cool people. They don't have a choice. They're 20 years old. Yeah. They grew up in the projects, and they're third and fourth generation bangers that are slinging dope and pimping hoes because that's what their great grandfather was doing. Right. Wow. So is there the story about the guy that went and he broke the cycle and he got out of that lifestyle, and he like Ben Carson became a doctor, and he grew up like in shambles to a single mother in a black neighborhood that was shitty, right? There are people that have done that. But let's be honest, it takes an exceptional person to be able to break that cycle.
Yeah.
And I have the humility to understand that if I grew up in those projects, there's a good chance that I would be the one getting arrested.
Yeah.
Because a certain percent of us are, of who we are, is products of our environment, right? And so the government's not trying to help those people at all.
No.
They're keeping them down. And then they turn them and try and create narratives against people like you. Like, never in my life have I looked at someone and thought, man, that's a black guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, yeah.
In the
Or been
line,
scared of them because of their skin color, or been, like, is he going to steal? Like, never.
Law enforcement, military, like, I've been all over the world and worked with lots of different people. And I haven't personally witnessed racism being a problem in any of those professions like it's projected on the news.
Right.
Every police officer is a racist. And they're so clung to this narrative that the incident that happened last week to Tyree Nichols, he was beaten to death by black police officers.
And then CNN still was like, it's rooted in racism.
It's because it's rooted in racism. They can't not try and stir the pot.
Right.
And it's like, man, I wish. But the thing is, these young kids, all these BLM kids that are probably 16 to 20, right? They are disenfranchised. They feel left behind, and they project the hate at you or at me. Then they just like, yeah, you know what? Fuck that person. And I always say it because I say things on my podcast that are not popular to say. When you're 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, chaos is fun.
Yeah, it is. It's something to do. It's entertaining. It's an adrenaline rush.
Dude, I volunteered to go to war.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go to the other side of the planet and fucking shoot people. Yeah. And like bombs going off and like gunfights. And it's like, this is exciting, right?
Yeah.
There's something about young men that are drawn to chaos. So if
conflict.
Conflict.
It's something to resolve. It's a problem solve too. Like, give me something to solve.
And so, and I'm not giving them a pass. Like if they bring that shit to my gym, I'll be standing out there with my AR-15, and if you try and destroy something that I love or something that I built, now we got a fucking problem, right?
Okay, and by the way, let me just say that that actually isn't even a race issue, because I can vouch for the fact that Oregon has a tiny minority of colored people, like any ethnicity, right? It's all white liberals. When I stood outside my salon and protected against BLM, racist, white nationalists, I'm like, you're all literally white kids.
Yes,
all
exactly.
All of you are white kids. Tell me how I'm racist for fighting white kids.
But see, all these young, impressionable white kids are just coming after you because they were told to.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The enemy is layers above that. And we need to cut the head off of the snake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's who it is. And it's, again, like if you conduct yourself in a manner where you're conducting illegal activity or you're doing things that are immoral or unethical, you're going to fucking have to answer that. I don't care if you are a disenfranchised 17-year-old kid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think we can detach emotionally and see this for what it is. You know?
Well, we can.
No, yeah.
You and I can. I don't know about the rest of the world.
So, dude, I want to make sure, because we just started hanging out. That's what we're doing. We're just hanging out right now.
Pretty much. You're like, we're doing a podcast. No, we're just chit-chatting.
I want to, and that's what good podcasts are. That's why I don't show up with notes. I don't have questions for you.
None of this is rehearsed.
As soon as I turn it into an interview, right?
Right. We're in the kitchen talking like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, and I was like, we need to start recording.
Stuff, he's like, stop talking.
And it's funny too, because then you brought out a bottle of whiskey. You said, does this work? I said, well, beggars can't be choosers. And that offended you.
It did, because it was a good one.
Yeah.
It's a, what is it? What's it called?
Was it
Yeah, it's a
Macallan?
Macallan. It's like a $1,500 bottle of whiskey.
Scotch.
Or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm a girl. Bradley. Thanks, Bradley. Bradley gave this to me when I was on his podcast like a year ago. And I don't drink whiskey. So I'm like, here you go,
and
honey.
It's 11 in the morning.
Perks of being married to me.
It's 11 in the morning and we're having a glass of whiskey. So cheers. But, let's take this from the beginning, because I want them to hear your story, how we got connected. And it's like we were talking in the kitchen before we started recording. When the pandemic hit,
yep.
A lot of the people that were just resilient by nature, defiant by nature, that we opened our eyes sooner than most just because of, our life experiences, business owners, police officers. Like, our life put us in a position where I think it was easier for us to say, wait a minute, as opposed to others. Right?
Yeah.
And early on, the handful of people, it like bonded us in a way that's like you and I, Ian Smith, Andy Frisella, like the people like right at the beginning that were like, hold on a second. And again, like it took me a period of time to come to the conclusion that, oh, this is bullshit. But that period of time was like 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I deciphered it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then I saw other people like trying to lead the charge too. And it connected us.
Yeah.
But to
me, it's like if you got in a plane crash with 150 strangers, you'd be like, we went through that.
Yep.
Like nobody else went through that. So you just naturally kind of go, in a time, a very historical time, and I'm not being narcissistic. I think this is the truth. This is historical what we're going through.
Of course it is.
And we went through something that no one else can say.
And they tried to ruin our lives. Like they literally tried to
goosebumps.
Yeah, they tried to like. We both have a bunch of small children that we have to feed and bills to pay, and because we held a belief that wasn't congruent with theirs, they said we're gonna fucking ruin.
We're gonna make an example out of
your life.
Yep.
And it's like, motherfucker, I killed men for less.
Yeah.
Like you can't
say that.
You can't.
I haven't killed anyone.
You can't intimidate me with your bullshit.
Yeah.
So where's this going?
Yeah.
And then I saw your story, and I'm like, and I'm
who the hell is this girl?
No, I'm a sexist, right? Because
of course, yeah.
Because I believe, and I say this in my jiu-jitsu academy all the time, if you get too aggressive with each other and you're fighting a man, I don't give a fuck. You can get so aggressive that you're fighting each other. And like trying to fucking kill each other. I don't care. But if you hurt one of my girls, now you and I have a problem.
Right.
Because I'm a protector. And I believe.
So offended.
Yeah, I know, right? You can't say that now.
How dare you call me the weaker sex?
I'm just saying.
Let me guess. You want to go in my locker room now?
If you and I go get in a fist fight in your driveway,
you are going to dominate.
I have a pretty good idea where it's going to go. Right?
But yeah, not even because you're a jiu-jitsu trainer. Just because of you.
Because I'm a 200-pound man.
Yeah.
You know? And so like when I saw them coming after you, I don't even know you. I'm just seeing this through a screen in my hand. And I'm getting those like protector vibes. I'm like, look at this fucking girl.
Yeah.
Look what she's fucking going through. Fuck those people.
Makes me want to cry.
Yeah. It made like so many things about what we went through made me want to just kill people. But the thing is, like, if you want to play the long game, cool. I could have went down there and shot a bunch of people. Same thing with Chop and Chaz in my town. I wanted to go down there and shoot a bunch of people. But then my story, my legacy's over, and it needs to be bigger than that.
Yeah. And so, we need people like you to actually stand there and not be sitting in jail.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And see, I'm not going to jail, so I would have just got killed by the police.
Right.
And it would have been a headline story.
Gosh, you are hardcore. He's in my house right now.
Well, no. Here's the weird thing. Is like I was in the law enforcement profession for 10 years.
Yeah.
But I'm also not going into a cage.
Right.
So like,
no, I don't blame you.
If you want to be,
you know
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I saw your story and it resonated with me and it hurt my heart. And it bonded us, even though you don't even fucking know me.
I know.
Isn't it weird?
We're friends now.
And so tell your story. I want from the beginning, from when you just like got the idea of opening a salon, becoming a small business owner, entrepreneurship, and then where it went from there.
All right, cool. So,
and your name's Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey Graham.
We haven't even.
It's my real name.
We haven't even introduced you yet.
You're gonna have to edit this podcast and be like, we're gonna go to 20 minutes where she finally says her name. You're gonna have to go record your own intro, like, hey, before you guys get started. So, there's so many things when you talk, I'm like, oh, I should be taking notes. But I started my salon when I was 25, 2009.
Okay.
Just probably told everybody my age, but, and I started it right out of pocket. Like, I don't know where it came from, but I have an entrepreneurial mind. And I think my mom had it. She's not alive anymore. But she was always kind of doing like the MLMs and the like Mary Kays and the this. And, women who do that, I don't think they realize, as cheesy as some people make that out to be, you're a business person. You're just trying to find your niche, So I think I got it from my mom. I opened a salon and right away I started investing in myself. And then I moved away from the renting and decided I'm going to do my own thing. And I think I'm going to do it well. I took notes of what I didn't like in other salons. I'm making this part of the story short because it could get really long.
Dude, we're long.
But I love...
Well, let me say this real quick.
We got wine. We got whiskey.
We got a lot of listeners that want to break the cycle of being a slave to the system.
Okay.
And are super interested in the entrepreneurial path.
Okay.
So go as deep as you want on that stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, let me just say really quick that when we were talking in the kitchen, we're going to get off track like this all the time. You were saying when you use that word slave, and there was something else we were talking about the pandemic, and they don't want independent people. They don't want free thinkers. I have this theory about the COVID lockdowns, and business owners are free thinkers.
Yes.
Business owners have the ability to say, well, I want to do this my way because it's my business. It's not a control thing. It's this is how I want to live my life thing. And you notice that they kept, of course, Walmart open and drugstores and Home Depot and the big places where there's employees. I think they shut business owners down because they knew it would ruin them.
Yes.
And when you don't have a business, right? Like, let's say I closed Glamour. It cost me everything. And I decided, well, I better go get a job now. Now I'm an employee. Now I answer to someone. Now I am yet their slave again.
Yes.
I really believe they specifically targeted small businesses. And we know it wasn't because it was safe. It wasn't because they were trying to stop the spread.
No, of course not.
I think they were trying to take away our ability to be free thinkers and to be free people. Because now, 2 years later, they rolled out these vaccine mandates, right? And if I would have gone and gotten a job somewhere, I would be privy to whatever my manager, corporate manager, whatever, told me to do to keep my job. I no longer have that freedom to say, oh, no, I'm still a small business. I can do whatever I want.
100%. And in these massive corporations, your Walmarts and your Amazon, your Microsoft, at the highest level, they're all butt buddies with the government.
Totally.
So they're all one entity.
Yeah.
Right? No,
dude, so small
you're
business
100%
owners,
right on that theory.
That they targeted them because they're like, if we can take your business away, we can make you a slave to someone else that we control.
Yes.
Boom, done. So anyway.
Well, let's go off on one more tangent about that, though. Because I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was stoned. I have my best. I'll have a joint at night and I'll have my best thoughts. And I was like, because it came down from Jay Inslee to fire me, right?
Oh, okay.
This is not proven, but I was told that from reliable sources because my own chain of command said, Greg, we think your message is powerful and strong.
Yeah.
And then 24 hours later, they said, but
here's your pink slip.
But we've been directed. We were directed to tell you it has to come down. Well, okay, who directs you? You're the commander.
Right.
What are we talking about? But regardless of that, so I believe that it was Jay Inslee that's like, fucking shut this guy down, right?
Or it's your ass, your ass, your ass.
Exactly. Yeah. And so they all buckled the fear. Oh, if we don't do what the governor says, so we're going to, okay, Greg, listen, I like you and I like your message, but because they're fucking little cocksucking pussies, right? But the truth is, this is what these people don't realize, is when you push someone that does have defiance and grit and resolve, you took me from being Patrol Officer Anderson with 1,000 followers on Instagram,
dude,
to now I have 120,000 and fucking Joe Rogan's talking about having me on a show.
That's right. What's up, Joe?
It's like, you motherfuckers think about like what's 5 feet in front of your face. Oh, this guy said this. Let's just squish him like a bug.
You took a decently compliant, basic, not that you're basic in any way, but at that time,
no, I know what you're saying.
Police officer.
Yep.
You took a patrol guy.
And you turned me into a wild animal.
You're the diamond inside the coal, and they crunched.
Yep.
And you busted out.
And it's like, and I'm just one story. You're just one story.
Yep.
But when they do this to enough people, man, they're building an army.
Dude,
and
it's all their own fault.
And it's all their own fucking fault.
You made us.
And they are going to be the cause of their own demise.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like,
how stupid are they? They're
like,
so
fuck
stupid.
you. And if they would have just been somewhat reasonable during those times.
Agreed.
People like us, I hate to say the word compliant, but I mean, I was in the military. I was a law enforcement officer. You have to play the game of being compliant to a certain.
Well, and we were compliant, and then they pushed, and they pushed. Yep.
So then, your dream, since the time you're 25 years old, to build this salon, it came to fruition. You made it fucking happen.
Yeah. So I started the salon at 25, and in those, let's see, I had it for 15 years. In those 15 years, I had renovated, moved, or upgraded like 3 times. So it wasn't just, oh, I have my salon, I'm doing well. I was always striving for bigger and better. I was always growing and expanding, right? So my whole entrepreneurship felt like I was reinvesting back into my business. I never really got to a point where I'm like, all right, just going to chill, like smooth sailing. But I was there in 2020. And that's what makes my story so devastating, if you will, but also powerful, is Scott had opened a gym, my husband, in Woodburn, and it was like going to be our retirement plan. It was huge gym, like a Planet Fitness type, big one. We had acquired 4 tanning salons from a franchise. So we had those 4 tanning salons, and I had my salon. So right before lockdowns, a year before, we had built a custom home on property. It was our forever home. I had just renovated my new space for my salon. It was 5,000 square feet, spent $100,000 making it perfect. It was my forever salon. I had filled it up. I had 25 stylists, and I had started my own hair extension company. And I was selling hair extensions online. It was like, all right, dude, let's go. Let's just chill. Like
15 years of grinding.
15 years of, I'm talking, I broke my nose renovating my salons. I was laying flooring 6 months pregnant with my daughter. Like, there was no time in that 15 years
where you were chilling.
Where I was like, yeah, let's just go. Like, let's relax. There was always opportunities. There was always growth. It was like, but we're all doing this for a retirement plan because one day we're going to just be cool. And that was literally 2020. We were like, all right, let's just chill now. The gym had only been open 3 months. I mean, it was crazy timing. So lockdowns came. I just had my 3rd baby, bought a new car so that I could tote all the kids around.
Yep.
Basically, the reason for saying that is like, we got debt now. We got a brand new house, a mortgage, got a car for the kids. We've got the businesses to pay off, and they locked us down. And remember, it was 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Remember that stupid thing?
I think it was 10 days to flatten the curve.
Oh, really? So ours was 2 weeks because it was like, it was embedded in my head. 2 weeks. And I was thinking, all right, 2 more weeks with my brand new baby. I mean, brand new. Baby was 4 weeks old. Maybe even less, actually. 2 weeks old. 2 weeks more with my baby. Awesome. And then 2 weeks turned into 3, into 4. And this is where, I was compliant. Okay. I agreed. All right. I don't know what this is. I'm not freaking out by any means. Trust me. I'm not overly washing my hands, but well, all right. We'll be a generous, active member of society, and I will keep my business closed. And so I will do as I'm told.
You weren't a grandma killer at this point.
I had not killed any grandmas at this point. So 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And somewhere around the 4 week, I was like, I don't know about this. I think I'm calling BS. I think I already don't believe it's killing all these people, and I don't know why.
Well, maybe because we don't know one person.
We weren't. Yeah, exactly. I don't know one person that died.
That was my thing. It's like
of COVID.
I don't know one person.
Yeah.
And I don't care if your 400-pound aunt died of it because she's your 400-pound aunt. She
easily could have died because she's 400 pounds.
That's what they do when they're 400 pounds.
That's probably the reason. Yeah. Not the virus.
In work. I'm sure you're probably similar to me, that kind of in an echo chamber, because I'm very oriented into the fitness world. Mm-hmm. So like my community and my peers and my circle of friends is mostly healthy people.
Yes.
And I didn't know one person.
Yep.
But I did know tons of people that got it. Yeah. And they're like, bro, it was like less than the cold.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Well, and the weird thing to me too is, and I know that you, me, Ian Smith, we're probably all thinking this, like, if fat, unhealthy people are dying, why are the gyms closed?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, of all the things to be open, close Walmart, right? Where everyone's scratching their butt and touching stuff, right? That's not healthy. Ooh.
Hey, do you remember when they closed just the gardening section of Walmart?
I remember when...
Or was it Home Depot? It was one of those box stores, and they're like, you guys can be open, but you can't garden.
That is weird. I don't remember that. I remember them roping off... like the toy sections of Walmart, or like the clothing, like you can only come here for food. It's like, I'm already freaking here getting COVID and giving it to everyone. Can I just buy the shirt too? Like, it was roped off. Like, so you can only be here for the essentials. I'm like, I don't know. I think clothing is essential for some people, but whatever. But yeah. So why aren't gyms open? And I'd said this on the news too. I'm like, look, I don't think anyone needs to get their hair done. I really don't. I think I need to work. That's the point. I don't think hair is essential. I don't. Your hair can grow, your extensions can fall out, whatever. But I need to work, and therefore I should be able to do people's hair.
But do you know what is essential? Is people doing whatever the fuck they want.
Freedom. Freedom is essential.
That makes them feel good, feel happy about themselves.
Yes.
For people, because I said that all the time. Jiu-jitsu, okay? I run a very successful jiu-jitsu academy now, and I tell my students all the time, what you take out of off of these mats and out of this gym has very little to do with grappling. That's the truth. Are you going to get jumped in a dark alley and have to protect yourself? Maybe. And it's very effective if that happens. But what I know you're going to get out of it is camaraderie, a sense of accomplishment, a sense of pride, something that where you can challenge yourself and feel better daily.
Yep.
A
Self-confidence.
place to purge all the negative energy that compounds throughout the day. All these things, right?
Yep.
And if a person has decided that this is the place where I need to do that, they get to do that.
For their mental health.
And if a person, like I have plenty of friends that really put a lot of emphasis in their personal appearance, that like their hair to be done. My wife and her friend Angie are always like doing lashes like once a week. They get their nails done. They work out every day. And it's like, that's what brings certain people joy and pride.
It feeds your mental health.
Yeah.
So when, we owned tanning salons too and hair salon, all the vanity things. But I was thinking, for some people, this is their escape.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, it's their mental health.
And the government doesn't get to decide what's going to work for them.
No.
Because the government can't make anything work.
No.
And here's another perfect example of that is once you own a small business, you realize like money in versus money out. Dude, there's a flow of money that is very, you have to manage it in a very particular manner or it implodes.
Right.
And if you just shut that valve off like a faucet for 3, 4, 6 months, the business is gone.
Oh, I can't even imagine how many businesses are ruined.
And so it's either complete incompetence because the government doesn't produce anything. They just take.
Right.
It's very easy to run an entity financially when I just get to take money from everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I always thought that was kind of weird. Like they shut everybody down. It's like, how do you think we're going to pay our taxes if you take our money?
But see, they don't care.
No, they don't care.
They're just going to
slap it on an IOU and take us to court.
And government was never supposed to be a career.
Right.
But you got all these motherfuckers in there now that have never produced, they've never built, they've never been entrepreneurs. They don't understand how any of this shit works, even at the smallest level.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, fuck you. We're just shutting you down. Well, it doesn't work like that.
No.
So again, it leads me to come to one of two conclusions. It's either by design or it's just gross incompetence. Either way, I'm not listening to your ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Either
way, we should not be complying with that. Yeah.
So what was there a catalyst then that made you realize like this isn't working?
Yeah. So it was the 6-week mark. I went to like a Reopen America rally, Reopen Oregon rally, something like that. And I saw, this was my first political event ever. I was not political. I'm talking voted for Obama one year because, all right, he sounds cool. Voted for Trump the next year, like, whatever. But I was an irresponsible voter.
No, don't even say that's irresponsible, though, because you can only put so much energy into things that are outside of your wheelhouse.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, politics was certainly outside my wheelhouse.
When you're fucking raising a family, running a business, like, you don't have time.
You can't also, like, dive into the dark web of who voted for what and what year.
No, I'm actually happy that you voted for Obama one year, though.
Oh, it was a great lesson because they had Obamacare. And I was like, what the hell is this? You're going to tax me for being healthy and not needing to go to the doctor?
But the thing is like, everybody wants to paint you as just this right-wing fucking white nationalist, like all of these fucking crazy
if I've
titles.
Been this my whole
and
life.
it's like, motherfucker, I voted for Obama.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know?
And so it goes back to what you were saying. Like I was just a lowly hairstylist, minding my own business, doing my thing. Who knows who I would have voted for the next year? I was not your enemy.
Yeah.
And now you've created literally Patriot Barbie. You guys created Patriot Barbie. Like you created the girl.
I like how our
that's
stories,
calling 911 on the transgender.
Have a lot of similarities.
Totally.
To them,
Yes. Yeah. So 6 weeks. I looked at like, how are we going to make our car payment? How are we going to make our mortgage payment? How are we going to pay the rents on 6 businesses that only one of them had said, oh, you can forbear it. Well, forbearing means you pay it later, right? So that was my salon. I was like, we're going to come up with 40 grand. I'm not working, remember?
I was fascinated by that. They're like, you can defer your mortgages for 6 months, but then you have to pay it all.
Right.
That's not a deal.
No, that doesn't help me.
That doesn't do anything.
That just lets me live for 6 months on a loan of my own home, and then I'll be homeless.
And then I implode. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm homeless. So you better pack up now. But yeah, so I was like, dude, we're literally going to go bankrupt. Like, we will have to file for bankruptcy.
Yep.
Or we need to start selling off everything we've worked for our whole lives. Why? Because the government said so. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that they can take away my right to work. I don't believe that COVID is as bad as they're saying because Walmart is open. And I don't believe that I should go bankrupt because of this.
Well, and this is what I always say too. What if COVID was as bad as Ebola? Then guess what, motherfucker? The citizens of this country whose eyes and brains work are going to be able to see what's taking place and make decisions that work for them and their families. And if you want to have your salon open and someone wants to come in to get their hair done at the risk of their own death, that's still your choice.
That is still our freedom. Yep.
And if you fucking die of some disease that eats your flesh because you wanted to look pretty, it's your choice.
You still made that choice.
It's your fucking choice.
I respect your freedom.
And this is what I told my students when I decided to open my gym back up. I said, listen, if you don't feel comfortable being at the gym, you think this is a bad idea, the solution is overwhelmingly simple. I'll cancel your contract and you don't have to be part of the gym anymore.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Very simple.
Right?
Your freedom. Yeah. It took me, because, cancel culture is they're so violent. And I didn't know what cancel culture was. So for a while I was like, why are they saying I'm a murderer? Like, I'm like, am I a murderer? And it took me a while to go, even if somebody did get COVID in my salon and die, I would feel bad as a human, but I still reserve the right to do hair, and that person still reserves the right to get their hair done. Like, we made adult decisions, and the minute we start saying, well, I can't choose for myself, so government, you tell me, what should I do? Well, and it's like, we're slaves. And
I know this is shocking to some people, but guess what, motherfuckers? We're all going to die of something.
We are. Yep.
And maybe it's because I thought I was going to get killed in my 20s because all the crazy shit that I did overseas, that I was very comfortable with the thought of my own demise. Because I came to the conclusion that life is very finite and it ends in a moment. And when that moment comes, that's your legacy.
Yeah.
And we're all going to face it at some point.
Yep.
These motherfuckers were acting like if you didn't die of COVID, you'd live forever. You know, it's like
you're getting in a car, which is more dangerous right now.
You
by
get
the
to
way.
be like Highlander. Like,
I never watched it.
You never watched it where they're all immortals?
No.
Like, there's only one way you can kill them.
Oh my god!
And so it's like
COVID.
Yeah, if you get COVID, it gets you, but nothing else will. It's like, when did we become so afraid of living?
That's what was scary.
That's what's weird for me. Like, dude, the human experience, and obviously, it's like literally everything else in our lives. There's a tipping point. There's a balancing point. Like, my friend Andy Stump does the fucking wingsuit flying, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and,
fun.
And he set like the world record at that shit. And it's like, you know what? With where I'm at in my life right now, and I've got a bunch of jumps under my belt too, because when I was in the Army, you had to be airborne qualified. Mm-hmm. I look at that stuff and I say, risk versus reward. It doesn't make sense for me anymore. I got 3 small kids.
Exactly,
I'm not throwing myself out of airplanes anymore.
Right.
Every single aspect of your life, you have to mitigate danger and you have to apply a risk versus reward mindset.
Right.
And this is no different. So it's like, to do things that are exciting and fulfilling and help you grow as a person, you're going to have to face some adversity. Mm-hmm. Adversity comes with a certain inherent amount of risk. Everybody's understood that since the beginning of time. Like, you think fucking caveman, when they had to go forage for food and face saber-toothed tigers, if they just said, you know what?
I could get eaten. Maybe I should stay home.
Foraging is dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm going to lock myself in my cave.
Yeah. Well, and like the risk that they were telling us not to take was, hey, don't provide for your family. You don't get an income. It's not worth it. And I'm like, you don't get to decide what's worth it to me.
So you got to look at it like this. It's like, okay, there's a risk that they're saying is a potential outcome. But then there's another risk, which is just data. It's math.
Right.
I ran the numbers. And if I don't have this many fucking customers coming into my business, I no longer get to fucking exist.
Right. My
Okay.
kids don't eat. So
I have
don't be telling me what to do.
I've done a risk management assessment and I'm moving forward.
Yeah. These people that literally stayed home and stayed safe, some of them passed even what was like demanded, right? Like they were that scared. I'm going, have you not been alive? Like you're more likely to die in a car accident. You can have a heart attack at any minute. You can choke. You can trip and crack your head on a rock. You can do 25 different things per day that could kill you, more likely to kill you than this. Yet you're going to stay home.
I think a lot of people,
so weird.
I think a lot of people almost enjoyed having like
An excuse to do nothing.
Yeah, well, that too. But like, the fuck, doomsday was coming.
It was something to talk about.
Yeah, it's like they felt like they were part of something like crazy. You know, like I'm doing my part and I'm staying home.
Yeah, and people were posting on their Facebook the fun things that they were coming up with doing, all in the safety of their home. And I'm like, get me out of here. I'm having a party.
But I'll tell you what though. Again, like full transparency. They got me too for a couple weeks. Because the first, like we talked about, 10 days to flatten the curve or 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yep.
So I had an exposure, right? And my work called me and they like, we reviewed video footage of a contact that you had with somebody that was COVID positive. So you have to stay in your house and be quarantined for 10 days. And I was like, cool. And I'm getting paid. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you know what I did? It was the most productive 10 days of my life where I built like my dogs, this huge kennel. I cut into where our stairs go up and took the understairs space and made this cool kennel. And then I took a picture of it and I said something about like the benefits of being locked down is I'm getting a lot of shit done. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when I look back on that a couple years later, I'm like, ugh, they got me.
Ugh. Feel like a little beta.
Yeah,
You're like, the benefits of being locked down.
But it's like, hey, everyone had to come to that realization.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And, it was the first time we were going through something like this and I fucking bought it.
First time in history. Isn't that weird to think about?
Yeah.
First time ever, that we're aware of in history.
Yeah.
Where the government said every single human needs to stay in their house.
And you know what's funny is I read a book called Get Well Soon, and it was the history of pandemics, literally about 6 months before COVID hit.
Oh my god!
And so I heard about I read about like cholera and all these different diseases that like just wreaked havoc on medieval Europe, and it's that is part of the human experience too.
Yeah.
Diseases form and people, diseases don't get manufactured in a lab and used and weaponized.
This one didn't form itself.
Yeah. We were crazy for saying that too.
Yeah.
And now scientists are saying it.
I know.
See?
I know.
Knuckle dragger fucking Anderson.
Stupid hairstylist doesn't know anything.
I had people fucking writing me because the post before my video was me doing a kettlebell workout. I'm a gym owner. I'm a fitness guy. Like that's my passion. He's like, oh, he's just a fucking meathead. Okay, so because you take care of your body, you must be a dummy.
Right.
And then everybody's like attaching themselves to that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's
so weird.
And I'm not like gloating and I told you so.
Right. But you know.
But I told you so. Because it's intuition.
Yeah.
Like open your fucking eyes, dude.
It's not even, I wouldn't consider it gloating. I consider it validation.
Yes.
Like we finally have validation.
Isn't it nuts?
You called us murderers. You called us conspiracy theorists. I got called like a selfish rich bitch. Of course, murderer, you know.
Rich bitch.
Because I wanted to work. So therefore I wanted to pay for.
Or because.
Whatever.
I built an empire over the course of 2 decades.
Yeah.
And I earned my money.
That's right.
Well, that's another problem in America is they want to make they want to make being wealthy look like a negative thing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, all the political elite are multimillionaires. So they want you're just a rich bitch. All you care about is money. Well, Nancy, I know I'm
you know what else?
I'm going to be crazy Anderson today. I already fucking know. And I'm
whiskey's
drinking.
not helping.
But like, so Nancy Pelosi, you buy a $24 million mansion on a government salary.
And she got her hair done after I opened, by the way.
AKA insider trading, government salary.
Yeah.
But if someone wants to build their own wealth through an entrepreneurial journey, there's something wrong with you. Rich bitch.
Here's the other best part, right?
How many people did you employ? You said 24 or something, right?
Yeah, but they were all independent. So it's like I opened my doors and said, you may work. Yeah.
You're providing
they all had to
avenue
find somewhere else too. Yeah.
For them to become successful on their own journey too.
Yep. Yeah. You said that like, you did a kettlebell workout and they called you a meathead. They would at the same time call me this like selfish, greedy, rich bitch for wanting to open, but then proceed to say, well, isn't your rent being forbeared or isn't this happening? They would list things about my business. And I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're sitting here attacking me about a subject that you know nothing about. You got PPP loans. Yes. I'm glad you brought that up. PPP loans have to go to your employees. The ones that aren't working, the ones that aren't working because you're closed, the ones that are also getting unemployment. They now get my PPP loan. Next question, please. Yeah. Or do you not know what you're talking about? Because, she's stupid. She's a hairstylist. Oh, she just does hair. She's dense. I'm like, I'm way smarter than you. Trust me. And you're out of your league.
Well, it's the female version of the meathead because you're an attractive woman.
I do my nails.
You must be stupid. You must be a ditzy airhead, right?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, the only comments. Okay, this was awesome. I didn't know that like looking like a female or trying to take care of yourself was a negative thing. It's not. But I went on my first news conference announcing that I was opening. And then I sat back and I just read the comments. And I was like, oh, what do you mean my hair? What about my lips? What about my eyelashes? It was all about the way I looked. All the comments.
Was it negative?
The negative. The liberals, right?
Okay.
So it was either good for her, we're so proud, somebody needs to stand up. It was either all really respectful and, whatever. Or it was, oh, she's, a dumb hairstylist. Look at her, the size of her lips. Why are her lashes so long? How much makeup is she wearing? Her hair looks stupid. I would never get my hair done by her. It's like,
and you want to know what the ironic thing is about that? It's like these radical leftists always want to talk about like, oh, if you're 400 pounds, you're still pretty. We don't
100%.
We don't see skin color.
Yep.
Like you guys are racist. So if you tell me I'm racist, you're saying I judge people on what they look like.
Yeah. Yep.
Yet they're the first to attack your physicalities if they can find something that they think they can pick at and make you feel bad about yourself.
And you know what it did?
Let me guess, because I went through a journey. Because I've always been a team player. I was always a good cop. I was always a good ranger. Mm-hmm. And I prided myself on getting along with people.
Yeah.
I'm not good at a lot of things, but I'm good at getting along with people. Even if you go back to high school, I used to go skating with the skaters, and then I'd fucking smoke a joint with the stoners, and then I'd go work out.
Then you go try out for football.
Yeah, no, I'd go work out with the football team in the weight room.
So funny.
I just know how to get along with people. And when these people started sending me hate, there was a portion of it that hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm not a bad person.
Yeah.
Why are they saying these things?
Right.
And you have to get conditioned to that.
Yeah. We make it look easy, but only because we've done it for 3 years now. At the beginning, I was like, these people are really hurtful. And I was the same way. I was a pillar in my community.
I knew you were going to say it.
I had 4 lesbians that worked at my salon. I had 2 gay guys prior. I was not
that's weird for
racist,
that's weird for such a hateful homophobic bitch.
Yes, rich bitch killing grandmas, right? It's like everyone started saying, this is what I think more pissed me off and was hurtful, is people saying things that I was like, that's not true. I if you want to make fun of my lips, fine. I get lip injections, whatever. But don't say things that aren't true. That pisses me off. Don't call me homophobic. All this stuff came out in this time. It was really weird. Like the left just decided, you're this crazy Trumpster, far right, racist, name all the names. I'm like, what did I do that was homophobic? I just opened my salon.
I employ a bunch of gay people.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. But what really turned into the ultimate flattery was that during those news conferences, they couldn't say, she's so stupid. She doesn't know how to speak. She's not thinking clearly. That doesn't make sense. I am a smart, educated, well-spoken, level-headed, cool, calm, collected person. You can't attack my character, so you have to attack my looks.
Yeah.
It became a compliment. No one's calling me stupid anymore. No one is saying, oh, I was choking on my own words.
Yeah.
No one is saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. All you can say is my lashes are too long. Or I wear too much makeup.
But you know what else?
All right. Well, I choose to do those things. Dum-dum.
You know who's not getting attacked for their looks? Super ugly people.
I was going to say the fatties with the purple hair. No.
Yeah.
We got to be inclusive. You get the front row of the commercial for the Ulta. For Ulta, if you are 400 pounds, wearing a crop top, your stuff's hanging out, your hair is short and blue and everything's pierced, You get to be the star of our commercial, but Lindsey, yeah, your lashes are too long.
That's what I'm saying.
You're out.
Like, if they attack your appearance, that lets you know you're actually an attractive woman.
Well, yeah,
You
and
know
guess
what I mean?
what? It's all like my fake appearance, right? If it's the way I naturally looked and you were like, she's ugly, it's like, oh, that's not nice. I choose to get lip injections. I choose to get Botox. I choose to wear fake lashes. I choose to wear a lot of makeup. I choose to wear hair extensions.
Yeah.
You are literally insulting something that is not even actually me. They're choices. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
It'd be like saying your beard is ugly. You're like, I grow a beard. I can shave it if I want to.
Yeah.
I clearly like it.
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny. I've got all that bullshit
and it all
too.
empowers us. I mean,
Yep.
Again, this is all part of the story where you're like, hey, you didn't ruin me.
But
you
I remember,
didn't destroy me.
I literally remember thinking about what Joe Rogan was saying, because he got hate even before he started to like have Malone and McCullough and Brett Weinstein and people that were challenging the COVID narrative, right?
Right.
And Joe Rogan, who's a very level-headed human being too, never came out with like an agenda or pushing a narrative. He just said, let's have all these people on so we can just hear all the different aspects.
Yeah, and then you guys can call us conspiracy theorists if it doesn't make sense. Go for it.
And then they attacked him too,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And one thing he said, he's like, I never, ever respond to the hate at all. And it's hard because you want to be like, because I got in a couple of the arguments early on. I'm like, motherfucker, my gym's open at 5 p.m. every single night. I'm super easy to find.
Come on down.
Show up and fucking tell me what you think about me.
That's right.
I fucking dare you.
Yeah.
And nobody ever showed up. And so it got to the point where it's like, man, saying that to someone is literally lowering my vibration, because what I'm doing is, when I could be focused on what the next step is to go win, I'm focused on this guy tried to make me feel bad, so now I'm going to say something back to him.
Right. Or like you're giving him you're giving him some of your time. He doesn't deserve it.
And then he gets that.
It's like he knew it. Ooh,
he
you
gets that
responded
little
to me.
dopamine
I got you.
hit.
Yeah.
Ugh, yes.
Oh my God, Greg responded.
Like,
and you know, they're just sitting there going, oh.
Yeah, they're bouncing back and forth between talking shit to people and jerking off to porn. That's what they're fucking
Their
doing.
mom's basement.
Yeah, they're fucking losers.
Yeah.
So, like, if anyone, and I have friends that I have disagreements with, and we have productive conversations and shit, like, that's all cool. This is not that.
No.
Because
there's no talking common sense.
No one ever gets into an internet argument and walks and comes out the other side and said, man, you know what?
I think we made a difference there.
I think we learned a little bit about each other.
Yeah.
We saw each other's perspectives, and I'm a better man for it. I may not agree with him, but I saw some of his points, whatever, right?
We call that unity.
Yeah. But if these people that talked all this shit to me were sitting in this chair, we probably could have that, because you'd feel my energy. You see, like, dude, I'm not a mean person.
Right.
I'm actually pretty fucking nice.
Yeah.
So now that we got that out of the way.
That's like the quote of the episode. I'm pretty fucking nice.
But now that we got that out of the way, what's next? You know?
Yeah.
And what a lot of motherfuckers don't realize is, dude, we all are a lot closer in like our goals and our aspirations than we think. What do we all want at the end of the day? We want security. We want safety. We want love. We want physical affection. Like the human experience is not like, it's not right and left. It's human.
All right.
And I think, like, again, man, the sooner that we can really unify people and be like, dude, okay, like, you think this and I think that. But at the end of the day, this is the way forward for both of us. They don't want that.
They don't want that?
They don't want that.
No. And you know what? Honestly, this is where you and I we might disagree, but I'm like done with the unity thing.
If you disagree with me, I'm gonna get all mad.
You're gonna
turn the camera
blast
off
me on Instagram,
and I'm gonna drive out of here.
You keep giving my whiskey back first.
No, here's the thing.
Well, I may be wrong.
Let's talk about this.
Okay.
There are plenty of people in our society that I think need public executions, and I talk about it all the time. Yeah, fuck you guys. You guys that purposefully hurt and fucking like
destroyed
children. They're pushing narratives that are dangerous. Like Andy Frisella always says, I have a fucking wood chipper, and those people, when this all shakes out, are going headfirst into the wood chipper. Ooh. And I agree with that, because if you purposely manipulated people in a manner that destroyed their livelihoods, destroyed their family, or even worse, like they're doing to our children,
caused the kids to commit suicide. You know how many kids committed suicide during lockdowns?
Yeah. Or fucking like cut their girls that treat transition and then detransition,
Yep.
they can never have an orgasm again.
How about
They've destroyed their genitals, right?
Yeah.
You're fucking people up on purpose for a couple different reasons. One of them is like money, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other is, I think that when they celebrate confusion in our youth, it makes more kids that are kind of on the fence, like, well, I don't know, like, is that me?
Confusion creates the ability to control them more.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they don't have the confidence. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they stand for.
And then they're not going to be defiant. And the government doesn't want you defiant.
Yeah.
So the people that orchestrated that, off with your motherfucking heads. It's why I bought a $2,000 Danish battle axe. Oh, and I am going to fucking use it one day.
My gosh.
But the other side of it is, when I say unity, it's not for the motherfuckers that orchestrated it. It's for the people that were victims of propaganda.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And there are a lot of people in our society that were probably holding a sign out front of your salon saying, you're a stupid bitch. Why were they doing that? Because they thought you were a stupid bitch, or because they don't possess the critical thinking abilities to say, oh no, this fucking propaganda machine is calling her a stupid bitch. So now I'm on board with the stupid bitch campaign.
Right.
But if they would sit back and detach and try and think critically, maybe they could come to the conclusion like, oh, you know what? I got manipulated.
Right.
And I want the people that got manipulated to understand we're not your enemy. You were fucking manipulated.
Right.
But if you want to continue with all your bullshit, well, I'm right here, motherfucker.
Well,
and that day's coming.
That's what, like, okay, so you've got the higher powers convincing people to believe a certain way, and then you've got those people attacking people like me on social media saying you're not inclusive, you're a homophobe because I don't want men in the women's locker room.
I don't want
unity.
It's not that I don't want men in the women's locker room. Is that I don't want my 7-year-old daughter looking at some fat dude's hairy cock.
Well, you don't
know what I'm
want
saying?
him
like
looking at her.
Exactly.
It's her locker room.
Like,
what is she doing there that he's going to see?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
either way, it's
how
a
is that
protected
unreasonable?
space. Yeah, it's not. That's what I mean. But the left is who is constantly pushing unity. Unity. We all need to come together.
Well,
they're saying
it's a false narrative.
Well, yeah, they're saying come together because you must come to our standards, which are down here, and my standards are up here. And I'm kind of going, you know what? I don't mean to be rude, but I'm not willing to come down to your level. I'm not willing to compromise on the killing babies issue. I'm not willing to compromise on the men and women's locker rooms issue. And you guys are not willing to give any space. None. They're not willing to say, okay, you're right. Transgenders should just have their own bathroom. That would be, the fair thing. No, that makes them feel excluded and that's not fair. And they're not willing to compromise anything. And so, therefore I'm like, then I guess we're not going to be unified. And that is on you. That is not on me.
And see, I would be interested to find out how many transgender people really give a shit about all this. You know what I'm saying?
Like which bathroom they use?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you chose to make yourself something unique.
That's what I'm saying.
So I think that that there needs to be a compromise, and it's not. I know one transgender person. His name is Matt. So Matt was born a biological girl, or Matt is a girl. Matt is so smart. He says, and I'm just going to gender him correctly because he's bearded and male, and like when I look at him, I see a male. He says, "I'll never be a man."
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
He's smart enough to say, "I'm a transgender. That's different. That's not a man."
Well,
I'm smart enough to know I don't go in the men's locker room. I better figure it out. Right?
Yeah. I've made this choice.
Yes.
Where I am a part of a fringe minority, and it might come with a little confusion. It might come with people judging me. It might come with some consequences for my choices, but you're still free to do that. Right?
And he doesn't put it on other people.
And like, I don't know anyone that's like, I fucking hate transgender people. Like, I don't know anyone. I don't think anybody cares. If you're an adult human being that wants to do with your body and hang out with whoever you want to hang out with and fuck whoever you want to fuck, like, it's all the weird shit getting pushed on the kids. I think that is what is making people nuts.
I have something to say about that, though. I care even if they do it as an adult, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, hear me out. I care because if you're going to think that men can be women, you're going to be that deceptive now. It's not just, right? It's not just, I'm a trans. It's, no, I am a woman. Well, you're not. You can't just cut it off and you're a woman. My problem is they are going to infiltrate society with that thinking that they are actually a woman, right? My son, I have 2 sons. They're going to grow up. In 30 years, is one of my sons going to fall in love with a woman, fall in love with her, propose to her, marry her, and then at some point she feels guilty and says, because he starts talking about kids, I'm actually trans. Like he married a full-on dude. Like that is, but I'm saying that's a real thing because they think it's so legit. They think I am a female. I don't owe it to anyone to explain it because I am a woman.
Well, it's just,
but you're not. And so when you start deceiving other members of society, you are not a healthy part of society anymore.
I think that there's, again, like your friend that's trans, none of that shit applies, right? Because he's like, this is who I am now.
Yes.
Right?
He says like he's a woman.
I think
he's a trans man. He doesn't say I am a man now.
Delusional thinking is the problem.
Right.
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 It's just like if I said one day, you know what, I'm a black man now. From the waist down. No, but seriously.
Oh my gosh.
Like you are what you are. Right.
Well,
and like if you're unwilling to admit that or accept that, man, you're gonna have a fucking rough go with this life.
People. It's those trans people that don't think, hey, here's my category now. I'm not. Let's say I wanted to transition into a man. I start saying that I am a man, not a trans man. I'm a man. Well, I'm not.
Yeah,
right?
No,
so
you're
you
right.
can't infiltrate society and deceive people. But now it's not inclusive of me to demand that they disclose their real sex. Well, then don't change your sex.
Well, now it's transphobic if you're a man that won't date a trans woman.
I know, I love that.
Right? You heard that? And dude,
even as you say this, I'm like, there's no dudes.
None.
There's no real dudes. I look around all the time now and I go, I guarantee every man in this room would never date a trans woman.
Duh.
Never.
Yeah, because I'm not. Because I'm not gay.
Because I'm not gay.
That's what it boils down to.
It goes back to
okay, say your point.
It goes back to like, who are these people saying this? Because I don't think they really exist.
They don't exist.
They don't exist.
I don't
know. Straight man would never ever be like, oh, I don't mind that you were a dude once.
I don't have one friend that's a dude that's like, I'm open to dating a trans woman.
Guess what I did?
It doesn't exist.
Guess what I did? I went out to a bar in, I don't remember where I was. I was on a trip somewhere. And I had my friend take me. And I went up to a guy and I very coolly started hitting on him, And I told my husband the story, so we're good. And I
already know where this is going and I like it.
I said, are you okay with me maybe not completely being entirely a woman? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I used to be a biological man, but I'm totally a female now. Because I'd asked him, like, I think I said, like, would you go home with me? And he's like, well, yeah. And then I said that, and I go, do you still go home with me? And he goes, that's cool. I'm happy for you. But now I'm like, good answer, bro.
But I'm out.
Yeah,
right?
but I'm out. I'm like, I don't have my thing anymore. And he's like, no. It was so funny.
But I used to.
There's no convincing him.
And here's the weird part about it. It's like, if you are averse to a certain group of people sexually, you attach all the isms and the phobias to it, right? Because it's like, oh, well, you're transphobic, you're this phobic, you're that phobic. It's like, I don't choose what I like, right?
Yeah.
And I say this on the show all the time, I can say that what you like is fucking gross to me. Like gay sex, that's fucking gross to me. That doesn't mean that if you're gay and that's what you do, that I have an issue with you. Mm-hmm. It means I think it's fucking gross.
It means I don't want to do it.
I mean, I have what I'm interested in, and there's probably a lot of people that thinks that's fucking gross. Like, whatever, we each have our thing. And I can't say, like, there's women that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole because I think they're fucking gross.
So,
right?
you got to come up with your own ism for that.
I have a category of human beings that fit my fucking sexual desires as a man, and that's what I pursue. And
everything else is phobic.
Anything outside of that, it's not me. That's
not a preference,
I'm not into that. And you know what? That's every human being on planet Earth. This is what you're into. There's probably some people that just take anything they can get, right? But for most of us, we have a a piece of the pie that is our demographic of men or women that we pursue. And outside of that, it's like, ugh.
It's really strange that this conversation even needs to be had.
Why is that a problem?
It's weird that we're having this conversation because normal people know this. Like, normal people are already like, I prefer tall, thin blondes. Well, then you're brunetophobic. You're athleticophobic. You're like, if you're a brunette, a stocky brunette, you know, like you don't fit then you have a bias towards me. It's like, oh my gosh, why don't you explain this?
I'll even take it a step further because
of course you will.
My listeners know I hold back no punches, but I'm sexually attracted to certain races more than others. It's not a choice. I didn't pick what I'm into. Like, I actually think it might come down to like genetic diversity. Mm-hmm. Like, if I have babies with an Asian girl, maybe they have a higher propensity of having strong genetic makeup or whatever it is, right?
Right.
There's a
is your wife Asian?
No, she's not. I always joke.
Just you know. I gotta get the visual.
They call it. People say it all the time. Oh, you got yellow fever. You know, it's like
there's a name for it.
There's a name for it if you like Asian girls, right?
See, they got to put a label on everything.
But it's not a negative connotation.
No.
A lot of guys think Asian girls are hot.
Well, yeah.
What's the problem with that? Does that make me racist? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we fucking talking about?
Don't hit me.
Why can't you be attracted to certain people? That's what it boils down to.
You can. Just the left says you can't.
It's nothing against other people. It's just, I think this group of humans seems more sexually arousing to me. Oh my God. You know, even though
you're blue shirtophobic. I don't like the color blue. Oh.
And I've said it all the time too. It's like, when I go out and I'm meeting girls, there is a percentage of girls that are really into me. And then there's a lot of girls that fucking avoid me like the plague.
See, now those girls
for whatever
deserve
reason,
to die.
No, yeah, for whatever reason.
We have no tolerance for that.
My looks, non-diversity. My energy, the way I fucking speak, the way I carry myself, it's not for everybody.
Right.
That's okay.
That's why we have relationships. That's why you choose a mate that's,
as opposed to having somebody betrothed to you when you were 3 years old.
Appointed. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if you had your ideal mate? And let's go back to like tall, thin, blonde. Say you're a butt guy, whatever. Bubbly personality, sweet, and you got betrothed to a short, stocky, brunette, dark skinned, brown haired, quiet, shy girl. You're like, this is hell.
But it builds an alliance between her family and ours.
That's right. But we're gonna all be kings if you marry. How did we go to like this from? So you opened your salon,
dude. We're at 1:15 already.
Oh my God,
I love it. I love episodes like this, and I knew it would be like this.
Yeah,
because we were friends before I even walked in your fucking door.
Well, and we did a radio show when I was on the radio, and I remember after your interview, I was like, dude. That guy is like
he's
the male version of me. A little more hardcore.
I'll tell you what though, and I liked your show. I had a good time on it. But this is why I only do long format for my stuff, because
you get more into it.
Man, it's so hard. It's like, all right, 30 seconds. We got to take a break. Okay, hold that thought. Hold that thought. Yeah. Coming back after a word from our sponsors.
I know you're right in the middle of a really good rant, but hold on, we have to hear about Foster Farms chicken real quick. Like, buzzkill.
You want to hear something funny? And Endless Endeavor listeners, please appreciate this. I was approached by some of the companies that I work with, and they're like, hey, data proves that mid-roll ads get better results from your listeners.
And you're like, nope.
I said, I don't like mid-roll ads because my listeners are listening to this show because they want to be part of an authentic conversation. You and I are sitting down, we're sipping whiskey, and we're talking about things that we feel are important, experiences that we went through. Now,
wait, no, I got it. No, just hold that thought because we're going to go to a break. Have you and your loved ones been vaccinated? Now get your COVID vaccine at Walgreens for free. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah, exactly. You're right? Like, and so
that's a wrong ad.
I told him, I said, hey, I actually have talked shit on mid-rolls.
So if you go do it, you're total hypocrite. So
and like my credibility for the people that listen to this show believe in who I am as a person. Otherwise they wouldn't listen. And as soon as I do some bullshit like that, it's fucking gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's weird because in the world of making money and advertisements and stuff, which I have to be a part of because this is part of my new profession, right? Mm-hmm. But the fact that I just draw hard lines, I'm like, absolutely fucking not. In one sponsorship, that we'd already inked the deal and we had already, like, we're moving forward. And they said, but we want ours to be mid-rolls. And I said, well, then if you're not willing to work with me, we have to cancel the partnership because mid-rolls are fucking gross to me. And then they're like, okay, we're good.
Here, put the pen down.
Yeah, you know?
We need to talk.
And it's, it just goes back to fucking having hard lines and standards and people like that.
Yeah.
And you know what? And that's what makes people fucking appreciate what this show is.
Yeah. Yep.
So no more radio shows.
So no. Yeah, well, no. I'm all podcast now.
All right. This is going to be the 17th attempt to finish the salon
Do
story
I even
now.
have a story? What are you talking about?
So then you were told fucking shut down.
Oh my gosh, we're back there. Okay.
Yeah, I have to hear this.
All right. So
because
so
I was driving here and I was
government.
thinking, I don't know all the details of her story.
Oh, okay. All right. So May 5th of 2020, I reopened.
That's my day.
I know. I remember this from the radio. We opened on the same day.
Fuck
Isn't that weird?
My video, the police video was made.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, not open. Duh. Yeah. Isn't that weird? So I feel like since you told me that, I remember kind of going, there's something like brewing around that whole week, that whole like God reached down and just did something with his people. Went like he invoked his army. Anyway, we're gonna talk about God too.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
I tried to save him last time he was on the radio. I'm like, let's give our heart to Jesus. Right here on the radio. So so I reopened May 5th. Before I even opened, OSHA came to my door and said, if you open, here's the fine we're going to give you. If you stay open, we're going to issue you a $70,000 fine. We're going to red tag your door. Red tag means they label it like an unsafe facility. No one can even enter it until it's all resolved. So that was a huge risk right out the door. Didn't even open yet. May 4th, they showed up and threatened me with this. That is when my story started to go kind of more national news. And somebody opened a GoFundMe. Hey, if she gets fined, we're going to cover it. That really freaked me out right off the bat, of course. And I was like, well, okay, the whole reason for opening is because I can't afford to pay my bills. Now you're going to fine me $70,000. I clearly can't afford that. But when I saw the GoFundMe money coming in, it empowered me. Like It wasn't like, ooh, money. It was like, okay, if this happens, I believe people are going to cover me. And so I did. I reopened on the 5th. There was about a 10-day period. Every single day that I was open, I got a new threat from the government. One of them was, we're going to kick you out of your building because you're violating your lease, because my lease was with the city of Salem. One of them was Oregon Health Authority. If you remain open, you're going to be issued $50,000 a day citations, Class C misdemeanor, all of the above, or any of the above. I got threats from the health licensing agency that they were going to revoke my hairstylist license, as well as all the stylists that were working in my salon. I got another threat from, I think it was Oregon Health Licensing, that they were going to revoke my salon's business license.
Every fucking angle they could find.
Every angle. CPS, Child Protective Services, showed up at my door on that Friday. I'd opened on a Tuesday. They showed up on Friday and wanted to investigate my home for alleged child endangerment claims.
I want to hear about that.
So they came to my door based on an anonymous, unverified tip.
Very convenient.
Right? That came the day that I reopened. It went through 2 people. It should never have gone past even one. The caller made up all these insane allegations that were so clearly ridiculously far-fetched and false. They didn't even know my kids' names correctly, claiming to be a friend of my family, though. They said on the phone call, I don't know if any of this is true. I've just heard. Okay, they said that to the Child Protective Service company, whatever it is, organization. That person was like, ooh, let's push this through to a second screener. The second screener, same details, same facts, same report. Yep, not only are we pushing this report through, we're putting a 72-hour rush on it. So like, hurry up and get to this home quickly.
It's just all political.
Yep, totally. So, being how that I'm like, I was new to all of this cancel culture, the public attention, politics, everything. I freaked out. Of course, I wasn't even smart enough to figure out that this is all related.
And shame on those agents that showed up
100%.
instead of saying, you know what, I don't want to be part of your game.
Right. So not only did he show up, he played the game. He answered to somebody. He came in.
What a faggot.
Yeah. He answered to.
That's my favorite word to use on the show, by the way. Just because they say you can't say faggot.
Yeah.
So I can.
So you say it with passion.
Yeah.
So he came in. He inspected my whole house. It was really weird.
Oh, you're so much nicer than me.
Yeah, I was pretty.
Get the fuck off my porch, motherfucker.
I was pretty naive.
Come back with a warrant.
Well,
and if you don't, I'm going to fucking kill you.
If you think this was bad, wait till you hear the rest.
Oh.
He wanted to interview Trigger, my son, who was only 5 at the time.
She named him after a part of a gun.
I named him Trigger. It's not a nickname. It's his legal name.
I love it.
Real proud of that.
You should be.
I don't think there's anyone else in the world named Trigger, by the way. I keep getting on Facebook and looking.
Nothing.
No one else has the nerve to name their child Trigger.
Did they interview your kids?
They did. So he pulled him.
How old was Trigger at this
5.
time? Fucking 5-year-old doesn't know what to say, what to do, what this is about.
What are we even asking him?
Yeah.
Like, you've looked around the house. It's clean. The kids are fed and well taken care of. And I've answered all your questions.
What were the allegations? Do you remember? Oh, of course you remember.
Oh, man, they were weird. There was like mold in my toilets, black mold in my toilets. It's a brand new house, remember?
Okay.
Like, there's probably not black mold. My sippy cups had mold in them and they weren't clean. Like I was feeding my kids off of like dirty plates and
I didn't
stuff.
know the government can get involved if you have dirty dishes.
Yeah, well, they can. Be aware. They're coming for you next.
Come on, motherfuckers.
That I was having parties at my house. This was during lockdown, so this would have been a big deal.
Yeah.
The baby always had a dirty diaper and had a like a medical grade diaper rash, like stuff that no one would know unless you were at my house. But we were on lockdowns, remember?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, so why were you at my house? Why weren't you at home, staying safe? Like, you know what I mean?
So did
critical thinking would tell these people.
So
this isn't accurate.
Once the agent investigated,
Omar Ruiz. Omar Ruiz.
You sound like well, never mind.
Omar Ruiz.
What was his conclusion?
His conclusion was, let me go out to my car and make a phone call, and I'll be back. He went out to his car. He made a phone call. He came back, and he said, I still need to come back and interview your daughter.
Oh, my God.
Then
dude.
he gave me the paperwork regarding if they took my kids away, what that would look like, if they removed the kids from my house. That's when I lost it. And this is all very like emotional, but
no shit, it's
emotional. It's been 3 years, so I'm kind of like, now I'm just empowered, I lost it. It was like in a movie when the mom's reaching for her baby and some random agent is taking your baby and the baby's crying and you're trying to remain calm because you want your kids to remain calm and be okay because you're their mother. So you want to coddle them, but you also know like you would do anything to fight for them. I pictured that whole scene. I just like fell apart. Took me about 24 hours. And then I talked to an attorney and the public was going nuts. Don't ever let them in your home again. Here's your rights. Here's your rights. Here's your rights. I got empowered. I learned my rights. I never had to let them in my house ever. And so,
well, I hope Omar Ruiz looks at himself in the mirror and knows that he's a fucking government cuck, faggot, pussy, fucking bitch. And if anyone works and has any type of connection with him or knows how to get that message to him, please let him know. Fuck you, dude.
He's getting so fired up.
I'm fired up. Like it's fucking bullshit. Like playing the game to like letters and like, I got letters from L&I. You're violating the workspace rules, all the shit, right?
Right.
You got all of those, right?
Right, which is fine.
But when you bring my motherfucking kids into the equation, I will
take
cut
my kid into a room,
fucking head off with a steak knife and put it on a pike at the end of my driveway for the next fucking agent. Fuck you guys, dude. Yep. Like, that's the right answer. You want to bring my motherfucking family and my children into this? off with your motherfucking heads, dude.
Well, and you
and
know
if you
that
think
he,
like, oh, you know what? I'm just doing what I'm told because
yes, there
my
you
boss
go.
said,
I'm just doing my job.
boss just said to go to Lindsay's house and interview the kids, but I don't have the fucking balls to look at my boss in the eyes and say, you know what? That's unethical. This isn't right. We're targeting this woman's family for an unrelated issue, and I'm not comfortable with that.
Right.
But most men don't have the fucking balls to say stuff like that, so they come in and they want to look at your daughter's under her fucking diaper.
Yeah.
If you think you're looking under my daughter's diaper, I'm going to shoot you in the motherfucking face. Dude.
Here's the weird part too, right? So my daughter was
three. I
three.
knew you were going to bring out Crazy Anderson.
I knew it. Well, yeah, it's bad.
The fuck you, you know, like,
my
and
daughter
that's what those
was
people
3.
deserve.
My daughter was 3.
You want to look at my 3-year-old daughter's vagina?
No, listen, that's what I'm going to tell you. That's what I'm going to tell you. Calm down, Crazy Anderson. Hold on. Daughter was 3. She was at school. Baby was 6 weeks old. Baby Ranger.
Oh, Ranger was the
Ranger
diaper
was
rash
6 weeks
one.
old. Yep. And so he, the baby was
good name, by
clearly,
the way.
yeah, Ranger, Oakley, and Sugar. So Ranger, well, of course, was home. He was 6 weeks old, and he said, "Well, I have to check the baby's diaper." I was like, "You're gonna check? Okay, all right. Remember, I don't know what's going on. Super naive."
Fuck, dude, my blood,
I'm sorry.
blood pressure's going up right
But
now.
here's the best
You want to
part.
look at my 6-year-old's dick?
Right. So
The government wants to inspect my baby's dick? I'm gonna fucking kill you, dude. God. How are we even... You said the last conversation, like, how are we talking about this?
I know.
How are we talking about this?
Yeah. Here's like, I'm trying to show the diaper, and he's like looking, but he's going like this. Like he doesn't want to look. And I'm like, then don't look. Say that you looked. Or like, why are you saying you have to check it? When you think I'm going to open the diaper, there's going to be genitalia there. So why are you pretending like, oh, don't show me that much? Well, where do you want to show? I mean, the poop comes out of his butthole. So you got to look close enough to the butthole to see if there's a diaper rash, right? So you're either looking or you're not. But he's playing this game where he's like, just pull the diaper down a little. Not that much, not that much. I'm like, oh my gosh. If this is the game that you have to play with yourself, you know that what you're doing is wrong. And yet you're doing it anyway.
And yet you're doing it anyway.
And you're doing it anyway.
Off with your motherfucking head, dude.
Yeah. So you'll be happy to know, Greg, that my attorney said, tell him not to contact you, tell him to contact me, not to contact you again, ever again.
Good.
I sent a text to Omar, whose main conversation was texting me, which is really weird, by the way. Don't text me again.
He probably went home and jerked off thinking about you. That's what old Omar did.
Took his mask off first. So he wouldn't hyperventilate.
See, I bet none of your other interviewers said that about Omar.
Never. Omar, I hope you're listening. But like as soon as I made that public, and that went national news, of course.
Fuck, dude.
I got a message saying the case against you has been closed for, lack of whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I bet. Welcome.
God,
I mean, the clean toilets, the non-moldy cups, the clean diaper, that wasn't enough. You had to wait and go check with your superiors to see.
I don't know.
We're going to get sued.
When I used your bathroom, you said, we have a child being potty trained.
That's right.
So if there's some pee on the seats, that's why.
Yeah.
So I should go file another complaint.
Now you can come check out my house. There's definitely pee in the toilets.
I'm going to be like, you know what, dude? You know what, Omar? I was just in Lindsay's house. There was some dribble on the toilet seat. Let's
it didn't look like 3-year-old dribble.
Let's reopen this case.
Let's reopen it. Yeah. I'm drinking out of her glass. This looks dirty.
Yeah.
Call CPS.
God, dude, I can't even fucking fathom that kind of shit. And I think about this a lot because if they'd played the game harder against me, I'd be dead right now. Mm-hmm. Yep. Like I say to about Ian Smith, like Ian got yarded out of his gym in handcuffs.
I know.
I know. Do you know Ian?
Yeah.
Ian's cool, man.
He is cool.
And it's like,
and Frank.
And he's just a solid human being. And they made a spectacle of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What the fuck?
Now that time has been done, it's like good. I mean, good. He was just a chilled, hanging out gym owner.
And they blew him up.
Right? They activated. That's what they did. They activated people like us.
Yeah.
I can't express enough how strange it is for me to be a conservative influencer, podcast host, author, activist. Like, this is so not me.
Who's fucking free?
Who's free?
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That I answer to nobody.
Yep.
And nobody. And I never will again.
Yeah.
I say I wouldn't go back to being a police officer for $1 million a year salary.
Yep.
Because I am fucking uncontrollable now. And
There is nothing. There's nothing to lose. I can't be canceled. You know how badly I'd be canceled repeatedly over the last 3 years if I had something to be canceled over.
Of course.
This whole transgender at the school board and in my locker room.
Yeah.
Like people are like, I can't believe you're speaking out. I'm like, what do I got to lose?
I can say whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah. I mean, this was the ultimate gift that the left gave me, was canceling me so bad that I don't care anymore.
It's strange to me that so many adults behind closed doors will tell you one thing, but then they're like, dude, you can't say that publicly.
I can.
But the thing is everybody can. Mm-hmm. And if everybody would,
right, we wouldn't be here.
Everything's over.
Yep.
All the bullshit ends.
We wouldn't be in this situation.
You know?
Yep.
But it's like cancel culture has fucking paralyzed a lot of people because they're like, well, dude, I got this going, I got that going. And if someone comes after me, I'm just, like, I can't let that happen.
Everybody says that too. Well, if I specifically get targeted, this is what I'm going to lose. I'm like, we all have something to lose. Come on. We're all special, but you're not that special.
I had haters. Because, dude, some people, like, dug into my life and, like, found out these things about me.
Yeah, they're weird.
And they're like, he owns several pieces of property. He owns a nice boat. Like, this is...
Dude, they did the same thing to me.
And it's like...
That's why, they totally have a playbook now.
You want to look at my boat loan? You want to look at my boat loan? Because I still owe over $100,000 on it. Yeah. And I make payments on my boat.
And I worked for that, by the way. I worked for that boat.
Because I enjoy taking my family out on the Puget Sound and through the San Juan Islands.
Yep.
Like... But
you're supposed to apologize for that.
Yeah. They want to like come after you for every little detail.
You've worked hard and bought things.
You bought a boat.
You don't need to reopen. You're obviously loaded.
Yeah, and that's what it was. Like, he's fucking rich. And I was like, motherfucker, I'm the furthest thing from rich.
Yeah. I had one girl do that to me and I was like, ooh, this is eye-opening. She had friended me on Facebook and then used that friendship to go, she's got a mansion out in Silverton. She's got a brand new SUV. She's got a boat. And I'm like, she's got 6 businesses. She's doing just fine. I'm like, wait a minute. You think I just own all that outright? You think I didn't work for that? And now you think I should have to sell it because you believe that I should stay home and stay safe. Not because I believe it, because you believe it. Like, that's what would happen is I'd have to sell my boat, return my SUV, list our house for sale and move into an apartment to pay all the back bills. Literally, this is not exaggerating. That's what I'd have to do to pay all the bills that are going to be due in 3 months when we unlock down, and you think I deserved it.
So when they started threatening all of these citations and all these fines, did they ever actually start issuing them?
Yes.
And so how did you navigate all the financial aspects of that?
So I got a $14,000 OSHA citation. They didn't issue me the $70,000. I'm not sure why. They issued me a $14,000. I still have not paid it. I refuse to pay it. I didn't even use the GoFundMe to pay it. I used it to pay an attorney to fight it.
Yeah.
And then when that money ran out, I just told my attorney, like, I can't keep paying you to fight this. I'm just not paying it. Like, I don't owe it. Like, I don't owe it. It's not real.
Yeah.
I will continue to just avoid paying that as long as I can until it's time to really, really get down and fight for it. But paying it
is admitting guilt.
It's that, and it's like they got their money. They're happy. Yeah. I don't want to appease you. I want to fight you. I didn't do anything wrong. It's like paying for a parking ticket where you didn't actually legally park your car.
Yeah.
I don't owe you that money.
So
you don't get it.
How long? I mean, fuck, that was right at the beginning. So this has been going on for 3 years.
Yes, 3 years. They've tried to threaten to garnish this house or to garnish my bank accounts and foreclose on this house to try to get their money. They're $14,000. $14,000. So stupid. That's nothing to the government.
Fuck, dude.
That's Oregon OSHA. And then the city of Salem tried to send me to collections for $80,000 for my salon rent because I had to close my salon. I had to close it and leave. I didn't even get to sell it. Just had to close it. Remember I told you I put $100,000 into that building?
Gone.
Just left a bunch of furniture there because we moved here. Wasn't going to open a salon again. Just kind of like I was just so done.
So after what did you say? They red taped it or something?
They never red tagged it either.
Oh.
They never did.
But when you finally decided, you know what? This business can no longer be viable. Mm-hmm. What brought you to that conclusion? Were like your workers like, I can't do this anymore? Or like,
yes.
what made you realize like, okay, it's no longer a fight worth fighting, and I got to move on to different aspects.
So I had started losing stylists as I was reopening that were like, oh, we don't want the attention, and oh, we don't agree with you, and oh, I don't know, they were going to go do hair at their house. I don't know. And then there was just some liberals that were like, oh, I'm not going to be here for this. Like, they were up and leaving. Chicken, by the way. They wouldn't give me a notice. They wouldn't text me. I would just go to the salon and their stuff was gone.
Yeah.
Like, just chicken. So I started losing a few, probably 4 or 5, right about there. Then when the BLM thing happened, BLM said they were going to burn down my salon. When George Floyd riots started, I did a call to arms.
Dude.
It gets juicier. I don't think you know this part. I don't think you know this part. Let's burn down Glamour Salon and kick Lindsey Graham's ass. That was the Facebook post. So I was pretty fired up by then. I did a call to arms, and about 400 patriots showed up outside my salon that night. And
see, that forced you to meet your people.
That's right. And Antifa said they're going to burn my salon down, and
let's go.
Motorcycle gangs showed up, vets, ex-cops, military. I was running ops. Hey, can you send 2 guys down to the candy shop? They're not in town. So we were spread out all over downtown Salem. And the chief of police the next day or 2 days later said, I could never say this publicly, but
yeah, of course you can't, you fucking pussy.
But if you hadn't done what you did, Salem would look like Portland. And Portland's been burning for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still burning.
Like, think about that.
Yeah.
A fucking salon owner that wants to make people's hair look pretty.
Yeah.
Is the one leading the charge to freedom.
Fighting BLM and Antifa.
While the chief of police doesn't even have the balls to acknowledge it publicly.
Yep.
There's our problem, America.
Yep.
Right there.
Like, why couldn't you pull, not let's say not me, it's not about me, but like in this instance, why couldn't you pull me on a stage and say, this girl used her rights as an American to protect what she worked for?
Yeah.
Why? Why can't we say that?
And if that hurts your feelings, our rights don't end where your feelings begin.
Because George Floyd, the criminal, died, she can't do this. I mean, it's so ridiculous.
Dude, the George Floyd thing was so fascinating because there was so much attention on my story. And then in a moment in time,
George Floyd.
Everybody get mad and start burning things down.
Who's George Floyd?
And it's like, for me, it was kind of an eye-opening moment because it's like, oh, these people are just fucking like dogs chasing their tail. They don't even know what they're chasing. They're just chasing what they're told to chase.
Yeah.
Because it's like, let's say you did look at the George Floyd incident and you were upset with what took place and how those police conducted themselves. Where the fuck do you come into play at all?
Right.
What does that have to do with you at all?
And
the answer is
tell me how your little black circle in your profile photo is changing anything.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's all virtue signaling. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is another term that they made up like along the way, right? Have you ever heard virtue signaling before 3 years ago?
No.
It's an idea that leftists made up because it's like, well, you're not doing it. It's like, well, you're only doing it because you have more virtue than me. But you don't. You're not changing the world with that at all.
I'm so glad that my eyes were opened because if I'd ever put a black square on my Instagram, I'd be like, dude, I'm such a fucking bitch, dude.
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of people with some regret there. Like, I fell for it.
It's just what's the next thing?
Right.
To show that I'm on board of like, oh, now it's Ukraine.
Right.
You know what though? I don't think the Ukraine thing caught the speed that they were hoping that it would.
Right.
Because everybody's just like, wait, why is all my money going to Ukraine again? Fuck you.
Half the nation has other things to worry about now, getting our lives back after they locked us down.
Yeah. So then.
Yeah. Okay,
then you made the decision that this just isn't sustainable. A strategic plan.
Yeah, I mean, I got really canceled after the BLM thing. I mean, severely canceled. Like, afraid to leave the house, death threats against my kids, a constant nonstop barrage of hate to every business, every email, every phone number, every Instagram, every Facebook, 6 businesses, all of those every day. People were going on to my online scheduling and making fake appointments for all my stylists.
Just to get you booked
every day,
out.
just so we'd be booked. No one could really get in, and we would never know if the client was or was not showing up. we would just be sitting at the salon all day. So they were
fucking
taking
hate
money out of
people
our pocket.
sometimes.
They were taking money out of our pockets. We'd have to be there just in case a real client showed up because we had to make money because everyone was broke from being locked down. And then you just kind of feel like a fool all day.
Dude, they like
it was bad. So then my
if you
stylist
purposely ruin someone's livelihood, public execution.
Yeah.
Or at least put them in like stocks or
You're
pillories.
just bad people. There's just bad.
That's what I'm saying.
This is what's ironic is we are not bad people, and they made us out to be these horrible people for doing what we wanted to do for our freedom, for our families. But then they can't stop and look in the mirror and go, I'm a really horrible person. This person stood up for her freedom, which is her right. I may not agree with it, but I'm going to take everything from her. I'm going to barrage her with hate and slander and vile and name calling. I'm going to get all my friends to do it. I'm going to make fake appointments. I'm going to change her salon to say public bathroom on Google. I'm going to make her life miserable. I'm sorry, for what reason again? Did I give you COVID?
Yeah.
Did I give your grandma COVID? Did you come to my salon and no. You're that mad over something that literally doesn't affect you.
They're that mad.
And then you can't look in the mirror and say, I'm actually a vile person.
They're that mad because they were told to be mad.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
They're unhealthy.
It's mob mentality.
It all goes back to the same thing. They don't work out. They're not getting their vitamin D. They're not getting their hair done. They're stuck at home. They're miserable. They have nothing better to do. The government has told them, you rely on us. You are nobody. You have no identity.
Yeah.
And anyone that goes against that, you've got all the free time in the world to attack.
I was just talking to Andy about this, Andy Frisella, and I came to a realization. I might have been high when I came to the realization again. My best, your
nightly joint.
My best thoughts, my best perspectives are formed when I have a joint. But it made me realize something. When the government and all of these different organizations we accept you no matter what you are. You're 400 pounds. You should feel like you're part of the body.
You're part of society.
You're part of society.
In fact, you're a special part of society.
And it's body positivity. Mm-hmm. And if you're this, it's okay. And if you're that, it's okay. You know what?
But not if you're this.
But check it out. If you want to eat eggs, just think you should probably have Lucky Charms instead. Like, dude. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Lucky Charms. Like, dude. Who
is reading that and going, okay.
But this is what I've realized. And it's like, dude, I have a fucking degree in exercise physiology, and I didn't learn a goddamn thing through that. You know how I learned about what you eat is by fucking common sense, dude. Right. You know what? Just eat real food.
Eat off the land.
Yeah. Okay.
Eat meats. Eat what God made man to eat.
Eggs are like nature's superfood.
Yeah. Don't be shocked. Eggs are amazing.
Eggs have a lot of cholesterol, and guess what? Cholesterol actually turns into hormones when you ingest it. Dietary cholesterol is not the same as the cholesterol that's running through your fucking blood. But I'm going off on my own tangent now. But here's the thing.
Back to eggs.
This is why I think the government's doing it, because they want to make those people feel like it's okay to be a diminished version of yourself, mm-hmm. right? Why would they ever celebrate being a diminished version of yourself? I figured it out.
Okay.
Because if you're 400 pounds and you can't fucking walk up a flight of stairs because your cardiovascular system can't support the person that you've become through gluttony and laziness, if they support that person outwardly, what it's going to do is it's going to make them less likely to say, you know what, it's time to become fucking strong, right? While simultaneously, though, when those people look at themselves in the mirror, they hate what they see.
Yep.
And if you hate yourself, if you fucking hate yourself,
you accomplish nothing. You strive for nothing.
You strive for nothing.
Yep.
You can never become strong. And most importantly, you can never become defiant.
Yeah.
This is a master plan to keep all of these people down.
I totally agree.
And what's weird is these people think that they're supportive of them. Motherfuckers, I'll be supportive of you. Come to my gym. I'll teach you about. I'm doing a 30-day fucking nutrition challenge starting on Tuesday. Do it with me. Mm-hmm. Let's start making our bodies stronger. I'm the one that's on your team, not these motherfuckers. They want you to look in the mirror and hate yourself, right? Yep. And now, when I look in the mirror, do I see flaws? Yes. Do I see things I need to work on? Yes. But in my foundation of who I am, I'm happy with the man that I am. Mm-hmm. They don't want that.
You know what else they don't want is they don't want you having your own identity.
Exactly.
Right? Like, I know who I am, a child of God. And I'm going to get a little Christian on you. Like, my identity, this is what I learned through cancel culture was what you say about me isn't really who I am. So I don't need you to define who I am. I don't need you to tell me what level of goodness of a person I am. And I learned to answer to God when it comes to, is what I'm fighting for right? Is it moral? Is it good? Is it just? And whatever anyone else says doesn't matter as long as I know that what I'm fighting for is good. That's my identity. My identity is in who God says I am, that I'm his fighter, I'm his child. He loves me exactly who I am. So if I don't need the world to love me, no one else dictates validation. What color hair I should have, how thin or fat I should be, how, fit or attractive. Like, I do what's healthy for me. But when I look in the mirror, I'm not looking at like, what is the world saying about this and this and this? I'm looking at, how do I feel comfortable? Yeah. Am I happy with myself? Am I doing what's right in the world? Yes.
Yep.
I know that my identity is solidified. So I'm not controllable by the government. I don't need their approval. I don't need anyone's approval. I don't need anyone to tell me what is and isn't right. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch any of the news. I don't need to know. I answer to God. I can read the Bible and tell you what's right and wrong. I'm a non-controllable person. But anyone that doesn't know who they are, doesn't know what they should be, what their purpose in life is, they need someone. They need a savior, right?
Yep.
They need someone to tell them, you're perfect the way you are, no matter what that is. Here's what you're to do. Here's the truth, because you can't look for it for yourself. And here's what you're supposed to do about it. So, they become minions.
I think so that we're going to have an interesting conversation here, right? Because I agree with everything that you just said. You have to be a strong person that believes in yourself and knows yourself in order to be free, right?
Right.
But what I see with a lot of just religions overall, right, is the things that you just said allowed you to say, I can stand on my own 2 feet and I don't need validation from everybody else, right? But one thing that I see that's very frustrating is a lot of people use exactly what you just said, because I am a child of God and nobody can judge me and I only answer to him, and he doesn't care if I'm fat. He doesn't care if I'm sedentary, and he doesn't care because my kids are all in a Christian private school. And obviously, like, a lot about the Christian faith resonates with me very strong.
Right.
But one thing that's always very peculiar to me is there's a huge amount of obesity in the church.
And I actually, I'm actually with you on this.
And what I don't understand is, like, regardless of what you think happens next when you die, right? And I believe I'm a spiritual person. I believe in, call me fucking crazy, but I believe I've had conversations with Jesus. I think Jesus is
a joint. There's a joint involved.
Yeah.
This was late one night.
Hey, I'm going down to the fucking Costa Rican jungle to drink ayahuasca and connect to the fucking spirit world, right? So I'm all into this stuff. But regardless of what spirituality you hold or what God you worship, whatever you think is next, that's fine. But what are we right now?
Well,
and right now, a functioning body is part of your freedom.
A healthy, strong, able, functioning correctly body.
Yes.
So vitamins, natural foods, not a bunch of toxins, not the metallics that the government's putting in everything, not the weird fake hormones that are messing with kids, and like, not clearly, I'm drinking wine, whatever. It's not, oh, your body's a temple. It is a temple. Clearly we misuse it and abuse it sometimes.
I don't even consider this misuse, though, because I think literally everything in life, there's a reason why discipline equals freedom, as Jocko says. Everything that we partake in can be used to our benefit or to our demise. And part of the human experience is walking that line and figuring out how to not fall off the fence either way. Right? Yeah. And that's one of the exactly. One of the exciting aspects of being human is having to find balance in everything we do. You can drink too much water and die. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Food can kill you.
Ice cream is delicious. Eat it every day. Probably not a good idea.
And you're going to die. Yeah. Like, you can indulge too much in almost anything. And so balancing that and finding an element of self-control that's what the human experience is about. And there's ebbs and flows and there's peaks and valleys. Like we're on this fucking crazy roller coaster, but we have to be able to rein ourselves in.
Right.
That's why everywhere we look, everything we do is fucking riddled with temptation, you know?
And there's a dollar menu at McDonald's. There's not a dollar menu at Natural Foods, Whole Foods, is there?
No. So what society has done is it's made it very simple to be able to fall off the fence to the side of gluttony, laziness, lack of discipline. And the thing is, what that does is it diminishes all the other aspects of your life, like your dreams and your aspirations. I hear your children yelling.
I know, it's my baby's crying.
I told you if I hear him yell while we're recording, I'm going to say, see, Lindsey does real life too.
I know his cry though. It's like I didn't get what I want cry.
Okay.
It's a fit cry. It's not like an I got hurt cry. Yeah. It's not a I pooped in my diaper cry. It's not someone took a toy that doesn't belong to me anyway cry.
It's not a my diaper's been full of poop for 6 weeks and I have a rash and you're an unfit mother.
CPS. It's Lindsey Graham again.
But part of this life is figuring out discipline.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. And when you like 2 months ago I was some of the best shape of my life. I'm already a slightly diminished version of that. And I look at myself, I'm like, bro, you got to fucking get it back together. Let's go. What are you going to do next? If you're always looking like, what's next? What's next? What's next? How do I become better? You start to apply that in your business, your body, your relationships, your just overall energy becomes, how do I wake up and be stronger tomorrow? And if you celebrate being weak and fat and slow and dumb, they're celebrating being dumb now. Like, look what our public schools are doing, you know?
But you make another good point. You look at yourself in the mirror and you govern your own self of like, is this where I want to be? Not, is this what the world says? Am I the correct body fat? You say, where do I want to be? And I know that there are people out there that are doing their best and trying their hardest. And they can look in the mirror and go, I'm trying. I know I'm trying.
Yes.
I'm doing my best. That level of knowing, truly, when I look in the mirror, do I know that I'm slacking? Am I happy with myself truly? Or am I doing the best that I can? That level of being able to govern yourself is also in sync with your confidence level.
Yes.
Right. So it is quite a bit about being healthy and making good choices and not overindulging and balancing. But it's also like, if I know that I feel okay with the way that I am, and I'm not lying to myself, I know that I'm healthy and I feel good and my body is operating, I'm confident that way. And there's no way that people who are extremely obese are like, I'm just fine the way I am. It's like, you know that you're not. And it's not me telling you you're fat and ugly. It's you saying, I know that I'm not the best person I could be. And I'm not even trying. And there's no confidence there in that.
And one thing I tell people all the time, and it's weird because I'm fucking pretty lean and athletic and now I've developed a following, people reach out to me all the time for fitness and nutritional advice, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I say to people. It's like, it's not that like, yeah, if you get a 6-pack and you look good in your Instagram pictures, that's cool, right? Like being aesthetically who you want to be, it's cool. There's an aspect of that makes you feel good about yourself. Right. But what's better than that is waking up and looking at yourself in the mirror and knowing I'm on the path.
Yeah.
I'm on the right path. So if you're 40,
I set goals for myself and I met them. Yeah.
So if you're 50 pounds overweight today and you say, you know what, starting tomorrow, I'm going to eat rice, steak, chicken breast, and water and black coffee only for the next 30 days.
Dude, you do that one day and you'll look in the mirror at the end of that one day and go, I did it.
Yep.
That's a different person than the day before.
And so,
it is.
Yes. And so when you do that for your first day and then your second day, then you do it for 30 and you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, whoa, I took control of my life and I made a difference in who I am.
Yep.
That's the win. Mm-hmm. That's the win that we're looking for.
Yep.
It's not the 6-pack. It's that you figured out how to take control of your life.
Yep.
And once you're in control,
you made yourself proud.
Something feels good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Now, then you're going to say probably, you know what? I'm not going to go back to sitting on the couch and playing video games because that didn't make me feel good. Mm-mm. So let's do another 30 days.
Yep.
And everybody has their different, like, my fitness and nutrition goals are always blocks of time. And I think that comes from like a military mindset. When I would go through selection or ranger school, or when I'm like, okay, I'm going to go do something really hard and this school is 60 days and it's going to suck for 60 days. Let's go.
Let's do it.
And I set my intentions and I fucking do it. I think you can do the same thing with anything in your life.
Yeah.
And so once you do that and you find success, then you can say, okay, I see how this game is played. I see how to find success. What's the next little challenge I'm going to do? And I mean, it's exactly why Andy started 75 Hard, which I did. It's fucking awesome.
I've heard very good things.
It sets goals and intentions, and then you see success in your life. Most of these people aren't doing those things that seem pretty simple.
Right.
Let's set some goals and intentions and find success, and then become empowered. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's starting to carry over into all these different aspects of my life. Like, how am I going to apply this to business? I have all these new business ideas that are coming up. I see you already wrote a book. I want to write a book now. And it's like, none of these things would have started to come to fruition unless I could figure out how to be a disciplined human being.
Right.
And for me, the foundation of discipline is your physical body.
Yep. Man, that was a good rant.
Fuck, I'm getting fired up. I'm fired up. This whole show's firing me up.
I know. The crazy Anderson.
I always joke there's like, I have cool ass guests on and then I just fucking like talk the whole time. So I'm sorry.
I'm like the coolest guest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
For sure.
I should just be sitting here sipping on this scotch. It's almost tell your
gone.
story.
It's almost gone. Well, the story, I mean, it's almost over. Like,
it is almost over.
We bailed. We came to Arizona.
What made you choose Arizona?
My dad lived here and my mother-in-law wanted to move here. And so in the middle of cancel culture, we saw everything just falling apart.
And this was where you figured it's kind of a freedom-based area as well?
Yeah, we had talked like years before about, maybe someday we'll get like a vacation home there. And like, we never intended to move out of Oregon. In fact, my dad was like, you should move here. It's great. And I'm like, we own 6 businesses. There's no way we'll ever move.
And see, dude,
it changed our whole life.
I like Arizona, but I'm Pacific Northwest in my blood.
No, see, I am like anti. Like now that I live here, I could never go back.
Because you get the sun all the time?
Oh, I love the sun. Love the sun. Like you could just tell what habitat you were born to be in.
Yeah.
I was born to be in the desert.
Where did you grow up?
I was born in California, and then we moved to Oregon when I was in 6th grade. So
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I was used to Oregon. I could have totally lived there the rest of my life. But now that I'm here,
you didn't want to be vitamin D deficient.
Oh man,
your entire life.
Like, people hear it's 120. I'm like, I'm laying out by the pool, dude. I'm like a freaking reptile. I love the desert.
You know, it's funny. Like all the stuff that we thought was bad for us, the sun.
Right?
The sun's actually great for you.
I know.
You know?
Well, if the government says it's bad, go get more of it quickly. Eggs right now. Eggs, sun, water.
Eggs, sun, water, exercise.
Workout. Yep.
You know, isn't that bizarre?
Yeah.
You know?
But I just can't imagine being a person, and you have to almost sympathize a little bit, being a person who's waiting for CNN to tell them what's healthy instead of going, well, I know what's healthy. Fruits and vegetables and meats and water and exercise.
Yeah.
And sunshine and society and friendships and family. Like those things are all American, naturally for eternity have been healthy for you. Now you're looking at CNN going, oh, I guess I can't eat eggs right now. Well, I'll have more Lucky Charms.
You know,
complete the food.
Yeah. When I see that kind of stuff, and I love seeing Rogan share this kind of stuff. That's where I saw that was on Rogan's feed because like, man, Rogan's always been just consistently solid in the fucking positions that he holds.
Right.
And when fucking Rogan shares stuff like that, it's like, it's going out
it's good.
to everybody.
Yeah.
Because like every time you go to follow a new person, you know, he says like, I'll click and do a little, just investigate. Like, who's this person that started following me? Every time you both follow Joe Rogan, right?
That's so funny. Then you're like, all right, we're good.
His reach is vast.
Yeah.
And he sees the bullshit for what it is now, which is cool.
I don't even know if I follow Joe. I don't even know if I follow
Shame
Joe Rogan.
on you.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
But like,
he's going to watch this.
But think about, yeah, right.
He is. Oh, my phone died.
I hope so. But it's weird that it's like, man, they're coming up with things that are just, I used to wonder, like the food pyramid, for example. Right?
Who came up with
the base of the food pyramid is grains and carbohydrates,
mm-hmm.
right? But I used to wonder, is this just incompetence or is this literally an agenda? When when you say Lucky Charms are above steak and eggs, it's agenda.
I can't even believe that this is a conversation. It's so weird. Like Lucky Charms.
It would be the same as saying
all of the, not even grape nuts.
Yeah,
like grape
exactly.
nuts I could kind of get behind.
It would be the same as if you saw like drinking Pepsi is better than water.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And now like, but this is how crazy people are. My fucking daughter was watching. I shouldn't even say this because people are going to be like, what the fuck, dude?
Don't say Disney Plus.
She watched an episode of My 600-Pound Life.
Oh my gosh.
And she's in the car and she said, Dad, you know what the lady was saying? That most of the day she drinks regular soda, but at the end of the day she switches to diet. Because if you end the day with healthier options, that's going to be better off for you. And I'm like, oh my God, there's people that believe that. Like, how do we save that? Like, drink water, motherfucker. Like, that's it.
I could tell you how she would respond to that. Pepsi has water in it. I guarantee.
But the reason that it's like shocking to me,
it's made out of water.
Fuck. So is antifreeze. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That has water in it too.
Gosh.
But it, and again, like we're somewhat in an echo chamber because I'm sure like the circle that you keep is probably similar to the circle I keep.
Yeah.
People that want to be better, right?
Right.
And I start to see society as this. Like, dude, most people are fucking pretty hardworking. Most people want to be the best versions of themselves. And then you go to Walmart and you're like, fuck, man. There's a whole other side of America that I'm out of touch with.
Wait, listen to this. Hear me out. What if these people are so brainwashed? They think, well, we are the same. I'm doing the best I can. I'm drinking diet at the end of the day. Like, what if that's real life for her? She thinks this is normal for people to drink soda. I'm drinking diet at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
That's truly her belief system.
I'm on the path.
Yeah.
These people don't understand.
And I'm going to stop drinking at 8 p.m. Because,
And you know what could change all this? Public education.
Right. That's not indoctrination. That's not controlled by,
Yeah. Like,
government.
dude, I think I have 85 students that are children in my jiu-jitsu academy. 85 that are just children. And at the end of class, I'll say like, hey, who's had a soda this week? Raise your hand. And someone raise their hand. I say, why are you putting poison in your body? You're here because you want to be a fighter and you want to be an athlete. And you're choosing to put poison in your body instead of water. Yep. You know?
Good for you.
And it's like,
those little things.
Coach is crazy, right? Like,
He's
no,
a conspiracy
they don't
theorist.
think that.
Yeah.
These kids buy off on me. And it's every once in a while I'll do the whole workout with them, right? Just to show like every single movement, every handstand, every cartwheel, every somersault that I ask you to do, I can still do it.
I can do it too. And I'm 80 times your age.
And not only can I do it too, I can do it better than anyone here. Like I'm leading. And I was.
Why? Because I didn't drink any Pepsi this week.
It's funny though, because I was doing the warm up with them, forward rolls and shrimping and cartwheels, all this stuff. And my wife was sitting at my desk at the gym and she heard parents talking about it and they're like, how does he do all this at 40? And it's like, because I've never let off the gas.
Yeah, 40 is like still young.
40's still young.
But
I
might be biased since I'm also 40.
You're over 40?
Oh yeah, I'll be 42 next month.
Okay, we're the same age then.
Yeah, but I'm older. I'm older and wiser.
I was going to go back and do the math because I think you said you were 25 in 2009 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I could have been wrong too. I probably wasn't even.
Oh fuck! All right, where are we at? Okay, we're over 2 hours.
I know. I haven't even gotten started. Let me tell people.
I was just going to say, I want you to talk about your book.
Okay.
Because becoming an author
let me grab it.
is something that's always fascinated me. And it's something that it's one of my 2023 goals.
Let me tell you about this book. When I left Oregon and we moved here, I completely had lost my identity. I was not a successful salon owner. I was not an entrepreneur. I wasn't a hairstylist. I retired, closed my salon. My reputation, as I felt, was like over. I was trying to figure out, like, am I the Patriot Barbie? I mean, what is that even? Like, who am I now? What do I do with my life? I got to start over, everything. It was very, not depressing, because that's not the right word. It was very just like...
Fucking scary.
It was scary. It was very scary. And it was very isolating to feel like I don't really know who my real friends are anymore, besides my, core group of friends. I don't know who in my community thinks that I'm this racist, homophobic murderer. Like, just everything in my life had changed. Everything. And I felt God through 3 people. Actually, I think it was 4. Tell me to write a book. And so I sat down to write this book at this computer. And I was like, okay, I'm going to write about how I fought the government for 10 days or whatever, cancel culture. Okay. But then I sat down to write it. And I was trying to explain in the book how God was going to make all of that had happened good. And yet I didn't even know yet how he was going to do that. So I started telling kind of the stories about how did you get to be a girl that defied lockdowns? Like, you're not political. You're not a war. You were just a hairstylist. Well, I've been through this, this, and this, and those things in my life had made me strong. So for example, I'd actually been in a 3-year relationship in my 20s with an abusive man. A couple of times he almost killed me. I was classic abused woman. If you can possibly imagine, couldn't leave him, felt bound to him.
I'll tell you this, one of my best friends on planet Earth, her and I connected right when she left an abusive relationship. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the darkest things
it is
on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And
on purpose.
through all of the fucked up shit that women like you and her went through, mm-hmm. man, you come out the other side.
Yes.
A fucking warrior.
Yes.
And I say this to her all the time. It's like, that was her deployments to war.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was forged in the fire on the other side of the world. You and her were forged in fire in your own fucking houses.
Yep.
And you know what's scary about that? Your house should be the one place that's your sanctuary.
Right.
And that's where you had to go to war.
Yep. Yeah, it was rough. Very rough. So 3 years of my life, we went through. So I went through so much with that man. But so I didn't want to put some other things in the book. But as I was trying to explain how I felt God had made me to be this warrior in this fight in this time right now, without telling the stories. I had to tell the story to get to the point, right?
Or otherwise people don't have buy-in.
Yeah, I'm saying that I truly believed, as I was writing this, I truly believe God created me to be who I am right now, in this time, in this battle on earth, in America. I believe I'm called into this purpose. Why? Well, because I went through this, and this, and I feel like that was preparing me. Okay, well, now I got to tell those stories.
Yeah.
All my crap that I went through in my 20s is in here, and it's ugly. It is very ugly. And after I finished the book, I believe that if nothing else, God had me write it so that I could find my identity again.
Fuck yeah.
In him, as the Patriot Barbie, as an activist, as a person who has repeatedly been told to use my voice to speak out, to the point where it's so repetitive. It's like pure prophecy. Like the word voice is constantly being said to me. And this book, I mean, it's not a bestseller. It's not in Barnes & Noble. I self-published it. I give it out more than I sell it. But it was my way of discovering that I had been through something incredibly unique in Oregon, like something 10 people in the whole world have been through. And I was going to use that moving forward. That was my next step. That was my purpose. All of this happened for a reason. I believe God allowed all of those horrible, horrible things to happen to me, to kick me out of Oregon, lose everything, be down here, and have to ask him, what was all that for? Why did you take everything from me? Why did you erase my life and reboot it? Why? And it was to do what I'm doing now.
Isn't that fucking incredible?
It's crazy.
But I feel the same.
It's crazy.
Because if I could go back and change anything, I wouldn't change
me neither.
Fucking
nothing.
Thing.
Not one thing.
Right?
Nothing. Not the tears, not the pain, not the one comment that maybe I shouldn't have said. I want it all to happen exactly like it did, to put me right here where I'm supposed to be. And the stuff that I went through with that man, an abortion, I was a drug addict, I was a dancer, all of those things before I even hit 23. I feel like God is giving me a platform now to use those things to counsel and help other women, empower other women.
So is that available on Amazon?
It's on Amazon, but you can buy it on patriotbarbie.com too.
Okay.
I would prefer you buy it on patriotbarbie.com because There's signed copies, unsigned copies, but like I fulfill it instead of Amazon.
Okay.
So then you don't pay Amazon.
Because I think anytime someone that is in the fight, that is standing for good, I will go buy a copy of their book just to support their mission.
Mm-hmm.
Even, I mean, you see my bookshelf at home. I have 150 books in the queue to read.
Oh my gosh.
And I know that there's a percentage of them I'll never get to.
Right.
But just to have that on the shelf.
Yep. That's what I have. These are all like signed by the author usually.
I think it's important for like-minded people that believe in your mission and believe in your cause to spend the $32 or whatever it is to have your book on their shelf nationwide, just to say, hey, these are the people that we support.
Right.
Not only to support you personally, but what I think it does is it gives more and more people a pass to say, fuck, man, I have a story to tell too. And you know what's funny? That girl that I was just talking about, she wants to do my podcast and she wants to write a book and she wants to tell her story too.
Good.
Because, and she's not there yet emotionally.
Right.
And that's okay because everybody has to arrive at that point, right?
Yeah, she needs to be ready.
She has to be ready for it. But the thing is, once more strong women like you and her stand up and say, hey, check this out. You're not alone. This is more common than you think.
Yep.
I went through this. I went through that. And this is how I found myself again. Because right now, there's plenty of 22-year-old yous out there that are fucking experiencing abuse and addiction and all the stuff that you went through. And if they can see women that are still fucking like strong, capable, beautiful, empowered women in your 40s looking back and saying, hey, check this out. This is what I went through. I came through
and so are you. You're going to come through this stronger.
That's given them the first step to freedom.
Yep.
It's fucking cool, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, I love it.
So this is a really juicy book. I've been told it's like a quick, like 24-hour read. It's that. I totally wrote it myself, so it's written in my voice. There's a lot of like dudes in there and stuff like that.
Did you do an audio version yet?
I am working on it. I am doing very poorly at that.
You have to read it yourself.
I did. I am.
Okay.
I'm on chapter like 8.
Got it. Because that's one thing that's weird. And it depends on if the author is a public person, then it has to be. Like if Joe Rogan wrote a book, it would have to be in his voice because everybody knows him. Yeah. And even though we're minions in the by comparison,
right?
The truth is our following would expect it to be in our voice.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to make it more authentic.
Yeah.
I plan on doing mine and reading it too. And you know what? It's like, guess what? I'm already very familiar with Adobe Audition and I'm sure I'll fuck it up a million times and just power through it. A lot of editing. And then they're going to get a finished product that is your thoughts and your voice.
Yep.
And it's going to be fucking powerful.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to push that book out because
thank you.
Not only like I'm actually fascinated right now because the whole Patriot Barbie resisting the government, that's my wheelhouse, right? But the abuse thing is always, ever since I've connected to this person, it's been something that's been very just fascinating. I guess it's a weird word to use with that.
But it is though.
But it's fascinating because it's exactly like I said, man, if you approach a fucking very volatile situation with grit and determination, and I'm not telling young women to go out and find an abusive relationship to become a stronger version of yourselves. But if by default you end up there, there's still a path to freedom and you're going to be a motherfucker when you get through with that.
Well, and I think that my having been in an abusive relationship for 3 years is very, very powerful because people look at me now as this very, very strong, hard-headed, determined, willful, savage woman. And it's hard to believe a man was able to mentally brainwash me to the point of abuse where like prior to him, I was always like, why do women stay in those? Why? Oh my gosh, they're so stupid. And then I became that woman and I saw how minute and little his daily choice of, words and actions and gaslighting was so subtle.
Just micro manipulations all the time.
Before I knew it, it was a year and I was like, and now he's actually pushing me down and holding me against the wall and strangling me. Like, how did we get here? And I can't believe that just 20 years ago, I was that weak of a person.
Yeah.
It's so hard to even go back there and go, oh, I'd like to meet you again now.
And now I'm going to assume, because this is weird. I've had like the same conversation with her, right? She's like, there's not a bone in my body that holds fear for him.
Oh gosh,
I'd
no.
look him right in the eye and say, fuck you.
I
You know what
testified against him. Right. So this is in the book, right before lockdowns, after not talking about this man for 15 years, his wife called me and said, we need to talk. He'd been abusing his wife for years. And I went to court and testified against him in Colorado. And it was a day unlike any other in my life, where he tried to manipulate me again. He had sent me a message on Facebook. I heard you're coming to Colorado. I feel like the stories are really discombobulated. Like, I'm not remembering it the way you do. He literally thought he could manipulate me into changing my story that I'd already put under oath to an attorney. And I'm like, you still think I'm that weak?
You still think you have me?
That I would respond to you on Facebook and go, what do you mean, Eric? And I went there and I sat on that stand and I stared him down and he wouldn't even look up from the table.
Good.
Wouldn't even look up.
Good.
Yep.
Because this is the ironic thing, is that you feel weak, right? In those moments when he was abusing you and when you felt vulnerable, right? And it made him feel strong.
Yes.
But the truth is, all of his actions and his motives are based in weakness.
Yes. He has to control a woman to make himself feel powerful because that's how weak he is.
And that's how weak he is. Yeah. And that's what all those motherfuckers are in their foundation. And it's like, come have a problem with me, motherfucker.
This guy
you know
is still abusing women in Colorado.
When you go after 120-pound women and try and control them, all you're doing is shining a spotlight on what a weak motherfucker you are.
Yeah, he's very pathetic.
God.
Would you like to know his name?
You can say whatever you want on my show.
His name is Eric Pettit.
Okay, yeah.
Eric Pettit. He lives in Colorado.
I have
He's got a history of abuse. He's abused every single girl he's been with since high school.
No edits. What we sit down and say is what goes out to the listeners.
Someday I just wanted to come back to bite.
And hey, if Eric Pettit doesn't like it, come fucking do something about it.
Eric Pettit doesn't like it, maybe keep your hands off women.
Yeah, exactly.
No one have a problem with you.
Fuck. And you know what? You know what else? My podcast is just getting started.
I know. I'm so excited.
We're going to the fucking top. And someday we're going to be getting fucking millions of downloads.
Yeah.
And it'll get back to him that this woman that he used to beat the shit out of is strong, defiant, and fucking winning.
Yeah.
And that's what you get, motherfucker.
That's right. And hey, you know what? Thank you to him. He helped me.
Yeah. It's exactly what we said about the government.
Regrets.
It's exactly what we said about Jay Inslee. You try and fucking squish me under your thumb. I have one option.
I'm going to cut through your thumb.
I'm
going to cut your thumb off.
And now I'm fucking stronger.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yep.
All right. Fucking perfect place to wrap this up.
Okay.
I'm making a command decision right now.
Okay.
Every time I'm down at Mom's, we should just throw an episode out there.
I love it. I'm done. I'm down.
Because we vibe. This is it. Yep. This is fucking.
We haven't even touched on. We'll give your listeners something to look forward to.
Okay.
We haven't even touched on me being a meth addict or a stripper in my 20s.
Damn.
Or what he did when he forced me into an abortion.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Did you see the episode I did? I posted about on Instagram with Jenny Burton a couple months ago.
I don't think so.
40 years addicted to methamphetamine.
Oh my God.
40. And finally said, I'm changing my life. And she's cool as fuck.
Oh my God.
So I'll show you that when we get off here.
Jenny Burton.
Yeah. But the cool thing is like, the reason I like telling these stories is because I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're at. This girl lived on the streets and was addicted to methamphetamine for 40 years.
Insane.
Her mother got her addicted to drugs at 8.
Oh my
8 years old. And it's like, I don't care what your fucking story is.
You can break free.
Break free.
You can choose.
And if you tell yourself you can't, what you're doing is
you're the only one stopping you.
Telling yourself a lie that keeps you down.
That's right.
So
you're the only one stopping you.
All right. Back with Lindsey Graham next time. Former meth addict stripper who became an awesome motherfucker. And I'm just proud to see like everyday Americans, business owners being able to fucking resist, stand up against tyranny, and collectively, the more people that see us, you, me, everybody that's doing this stuff, I honestly think it's the foundation of what helps our country come together and stand against evil.
Yeah.
And we're going to see it in our lifetimes.
That's right. It's so exciting.
Any final words?
Check out my story at patriotbarbie.com. Thank you.
Follow you.
Follow me on Instagram, the.patriot.barbie. But most importantly, I just want people to be empowered by my story. Like, I want them to know that this is not about me on a pedestal doing something unthinkable. It's about me encouraging you guys to do the unthinkable also every single day. You know the phrase courage is contagious?
Fuck yeah.
I don't think if I do something courageous, it's contagious to you. I think that when each person inside themselves chooses to do something small and courageous themselves, when no one is looking, when they know what the right thing is to do, when they do that, they speak up, they stand up for something they normally wouldn't, they give themselves that contagion. They love it. They realize how strong they are. They overcome anything that would come out of that. And then they say, tomorrow I'm going to do something courageous also. And their own courage gives them the strength to keep getting more and more bold. So for those people that think, I don't have it in me to do what you did or what you do or whatever, just do something. And then you'll love it. You'll love the feeling. You'll want to do something bigger and bigger and bigger. Before you know it, you're defying government.
Fuck yeah, I love it. All right, guys, that's a wrap for today. I appreciate you, and we're going to be fucking doing plenty of these in the future.